All right, welcome everybody to Grand Finals SSOT Day 2. We have a fantastic day lined up. In 15 UTC, so in about an hour, we're obviously going to get the Grand Finals match. And then before that, we're going to have the interview with the one and only, the face of OSU, BTMC. But I am here joined alongside Bubble Man himself.
Hello,
How
I'm
you doing,
back.
man?
I wasn't actually meant to be on this cast. It was very pretty last minute for me to be here. But hey, I'm here. let's do some chatting. So let's run through what the bracket looks like. How these two teams got here. The grand finals, obviously between Suntan and I'm Korean 2. Suntan coming from the winner's side, they had not an easy run. They faced a lot of opposition on their way up here. Of course, seeding in, I believe, third confirmed, Vordy?
I think Suntan was
It was second or third?
I think they were first seed. Let me check.
No, I'm Korean 2 was first seed.
Oh yeah, I'm Korean 2. I think it was
second. I've seen now on the. I don't know why I didn't.
And
check the challenge
I think
right
partially with the second seed was I think they were missing Emrek, if I recall correctly, for the qualies. They were missing someone big. Yeah.
Well, hey, first, second, you're still meeting winners finals, right? As long as you keep winning. And well, they did that. They beat Gort, the 15th seed, 6-0. Then faced Grease Monkey Deluxe and beat them 6-1. And that was a tough team, actually. That was they dropped down into the losers bracket after that and pulled off an interesting upset against Stockfish, beating the number 4 seed. So a tough match against the Grease Monkey Deluxe side. Paper Candle, Honda, Yokes, Andros, Penguinsy, Melva. A team that looks like it had a lot of fun. Rafis, we interviewed yesterday, was on that team too, and Bunny. And then Suntan, after blasted through the numbers 3 seed, chipi, chapa, 6-2. We saw them in the losers bracket finals yesterday, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then, of course, the winners finals against I'm Korean 2, the number 1 seed, and they had a tough match. They were down for most of it and pulled through 7-5 and find themselves in the winners side of the grand final.
And yeah, now here they are. I'm Korean 2, I think, doing what they were expected to do. I think up against chipi, chapa in the lowers grand finals. I mean, some phenomenal stuff from the team. I think notably worst HR player with this tournament structure on these 1 slots where you can just put your best guy on these skill sets. Worst HR player showing what he can do on some of the 1s and some of the 2s, and overall winning by quite a good margin. 7-3. 2 of the losses were pretty close. I think there was the 1 loss on DT4 where Chipi Chava, just went crazy and had I think it was an over triple scoreline. So they obviously had the speed set.
That was a good match.
Pretty good. But yeah, I mean, they did their best. But I mean, I'm Korean 2 has some insane specialists in some of these more gimmickier skill sets, which I think really favors on a pool where you can have 1s and 2s, right? You don't need 4 players for something like a hidden 1. But here they are. I'm Korean 2 back into the winners up against Suntan, who obviously have the bracket advantage. And this was the closest match Suntan had before, and I dare say this is going to be hopefully the most fire match of the tournament. I can only hope.
So let's take a quick look at how they got to this position that they're in right now. Their round 1 and 2, they completely swept it. It was 6-0. They beat True and Washin Toa. Complete clean sweeps. And then 6-2 against Empaths. The same scoreline actually is on the other side of the bracket between Suntan and Chipi. Empaths, of course, the team consisting of Batball, Gaby, Painted Koala. I think that's the actual Painted Koala. And yeah, there is another paint. Hold on, no.
There's two. Is that one's the real one for sure.
Is that Koawana? Anyway, you're cute, Pez, Arj as well on that team, and Arco. Great team to beat them 6-2 in the same style as Suntan beat Chipi 6-2. Shows the power, shows the prowess, and then. Moving into the winners, or it says semi-finals. Sorry, that threw me for a loop a sec. Challenge. The winners finals. I'm Korean 2 and Suntan. Of course, they were up. They dropped down. and now they face again on a harder map pool, a much harder map pool. This one, Vordy.
Oh yeah, I mean this map pool is pretty absurd. I mean DT1 is Ascension to Heaven, which I think gives a good forecast for how a lot of the other slots are.
What an interesting map. What an interesting map. Like, we had a Colibed get 140k on that through the intro. We had Henry get 30k through the intro, right? And then the final scoreline was a Colibed 120 versus Henry 100. So that is such a volatile map, that one. That you can swing that just by either double tapping the ending or managing to combo it better than your opponent, keeping the accuracy.
I mean, yeah, I think it's one of those maps where even the best speed players in the game, you need to be on your best speed day ever to even attempt that map. And even somebody like a Colibed, he's maybe top 2 speed players in the world, alongside obviously Eterna, who had the best score on Ascension to Heaven. Still, on a normal day, you're just not ready to play 300 BPM death streams at all. So
it's almost like who can play the intro the best, and then who is feeling good, who's confident, who has that gene where you get faster when you have adrenaline. That's the one to look out for. Sure. Let's look at some of the rest of the pool. We've got Graces of Heaven No Mod 4, which I think is the first time that's ever featured in a tournament. I never expected to see that in a tournament. One of the most iconic maps in the game. Ailstorm Shipwrecked Hard Rock 1 is 8.74 stars for Hard Rock, and it's a 1v1. So, again, it could be volatile. And then you move to Little Princess Hard Rock 3, CS 7.8. No 9.1 this time. The pool has learned from last time. We got some Policia DT4. Consistent team performance. Surapetan 3 mod 1. Some really incredible maps.
Yeah, I mean the pool is insane. I'm super excited to see both of these teams play it, but we'll see that in 55 minutes when it hits 15 UTC, of course. Mm-hmm. But first, we have an interview with the one and only BTMC, the face of the game. We have How are you, man? How you going?
Yo, good morning. Hello, guys. It is absolutely incredible to be awake at this hour.
I bet it feels good.
You guys are single-handedly fixing my sleep schedule. I swear, dude. This is great. How are you guys doing today?
Welcome to the daytime hours.
Damn
courtesy
right.
of coffee.
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's a crisp 10:06 p.m. here in Perth, Australia. We're all spread around the world here.
Hey, I respect that.
So, let's talk about your relation with tournaments for a sec.
Oh,
because
okay.
I've already said face of the game. That includes, you were the world champion on the US team in 2020. But what got you started playing tournaments?
So let me first start off with that title of like face of the game, face of Osu. I never asked for this. It has some interesting context along with it because it all started, I think, Nerdiness. Yeah, it was Nerdiness. He uploaded this this awesome, amazing video, basically detailing like the story and my come up throughout the game, and that was like a community made thing. But he titled it BTMC, the face of Osu, and that was the first time it was ever like coined and thrown around. But it was also it was like a community made thing, right? But the moment the article went up of like my interview with the Osu team and they titled it the face of Osu, I swear, dude, something just changed, dude. I was like, damn, this is. This is crazy.
Those sort of titles, you never get them from yourself. You never call yourself, I'm the face of Osu, I'm the big guy. It's always someone else.
Face of Osu. Hey,
someone else calls
you
the
that. Face of this guy's bedroom.
I'm the big man. I'm
exactly
bigger than the community. No, you are one of the best things about the community, Ed. But
I appreciate that.
So tournaments. What was it that got you started? What got you interested in them?
So, when I first actually started within the OSU community, like I was obviously my own solo player, just playing the game and enjoying myself through playing maps and farming for scores and the things you do within the game, right? However, the one thing that I struggled with, especially early on, as a player, was gaining the respect within the community. See, as I was already like a fairly, large content creator for the OSU scene, back when I was like a 4-digit, right? Which there were many players in the top 100 that were still streaming, and many people would rather go towards those players, at least within the deeper community forums like r/OSU game, channels like that, right? So the respect of the community was something that I was really eager to earn, and so I found tournaments to be a interesting angle to go into to really garner that respect. That, as well as going to community events such as COE, for instance. 2018 was like my first time attending and then meeting with a lot of these players face to face. Having those conversations. That was incredible. But starting off my actual tournament career, it was really just like trying to expand my skill set and prove myself that I'm not just this guy who has a face and a voice and does the funny bread thing or random funny moments on stream. Like I'm a player that can hold up for myself, and that's what I wanted to prove to everyone. And it basically peaked all the way in 2020, where like there was a OWC victory, obviously a Corsace victory. Like I'm not sure if the TV size tournament victory was also in that in that same year, but that was awesome. That was great.
Would you? I know you've taken a while off from being properly competitive with the game to chase streaming and chase content creation as a career, but would you want to? And this isn't a question of whether you can or not, because I know you can, but would you want to get back to that sort of level of tournament performance, top 50, like top tier player?
Oh yeah, for sure. If anything, like I never stopped trying to go for it. The only problem is like where it stands on the priority list, right?
Yeah.
I made like tournament play and like grinding a #1 priority, and as a result, like I uploaded like 5 videos in a year or something like that. When it used to be like once every week or at least once a month, right? It was abysmal. However, in terms of like performance within the game, it was definitely like at its peak. There's something different about having like a forced schedule of like every single weekend you have a match that you have to play. There are expectations for you to perform with your team and expectations to practice these map pools ahead of time. And that routine, that regimen was definitely something that helped me, improve myself as a player. However, without those constraints now, it's kind of like, okay, I'm trying to figure out all these projects that are going on behind the scenes, how to make cool things happen, account for all these moving parts. All of a sudden, OSU gets kicked down and down and down, further down the priority list. And it's been really frustrating because I am really passionate about OSU. I do care about this game, and I do care about improving at the game. It's just hard to find time for it anymore.
I feel like in a game like this as well, if you want to push your limits and actually get better, you have to play so much, man. I swear you have to play like 3, 4, even maybe 5 hours a day. And if you're doing other stuff, you're pursuing content creation, you're pursuing other things, you're doing stuff like the round table, you got other things going on in your life. It's really tough.
Oh yeah.
And I was actually going to ask, what because I think out of all of the figureheads of this game, all the big streamers, I think you've done probably the most out of anybody for trying to bring OSU, competition and also just get it out there in the ether more than anyone else. And I assume, what's your motivation? Like, do you want this game? Because that's the impression I get, but I just want to kind of know, do you want this game to be like more out there, more globally known? And is that kind of what you're trying to do with some of the stuff you're doing?
So I guess if we talk about things on more of like a interest level, like my interest as a content creator, like I talked about this in one of my more recent videos, but there was basically a moment in my career where there was a fork in the road, right? Being like the most popular OSU content creator, both on YouTube, Twitch, etc. Like I had this interesting dilemma of like, okay, I obviously want to grow my channels, but if I'm already at the peak of basically what the OSU community has to offer, I was legitimately considering jumping ship into either exploring other territories, other games, making collaborations to, expand my audience beyond Osu, which I'm still doing that to a certain extent, but it's more of like I kind of do that on games that I just enjoy, even if there's even smaller communities. So say for like Tetris or I guess Genshin isn't the best example, but just games that I enjoy casually and I don't really intend on investing a lot of time of actually like becoming known in that game as a variety streamer, if that makes any sense, right? But I could either go with that approach of it going into variety or go with a different approach of growing with the game. That approach is a lot harder. It's a lot I would argue it's safer because I get to stick with my existing community and I already know the space very well and I have a lot of friends to support me. But it's a very interesting issue to tackle because you can only, as a creator, grow as big as the game. If you want to go beyond that, the game has to grow. So now I'm thinking about how do I grow the game? So the roundtable was one of those ideas to explore, and I definitely think it's one of the best ones to continue investing into. And so the entire point behind the roundtable is this large-scale event. We bring the best that Osu has to offer, and we showcase it in a format that's accessible to anyone. There's a massive, an absolutely massive audience of people who don't actively follow the Osu like competitive system, the day-to-day scores, but they do watch gameplay. They know of Osu. They play Osu as an aim trainer. They've seen scores from time to time in their TikTok feed. Like there's a large amount of people, even when I walk around in Los Angeles talking with like industry professionals, esports players, and just random people on the street, they know Osu. They've heard of Osu. The question is, how do we actually suck them in deeper? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's a very pervasive game, isn't it? It's sort of reeled its way into everything, where the concept is so simple. You can open it up for 2 minutes or 2 seconds and still get something back out of it. Kind of like Tetris, where Tetris is a game you play on most streams when you're waiting for a cue to pop. So,
exactly.
Yeah, you're exactly right. How is it that you then hook people and say, okay, you've spent 10 minutes on this, spend 30 minutes now getting to know us?
And then going that even farther of like, okay, how do you convince them to actually start investing in this game as like a serious thing where they're trying to figure out how to improve, figure how to compete, figure how to engage and contribute through mapping or creating songs or creating their own projects for the game, right? Like there's like this gradient that a player kind of goes through where they start off as like a casual, maybe spectating, then actually actively playing the game, and then actually like engaging with the community. And that part where you start engaging in the community, interacting with the community, and investing in the community, I feel like that's where there's boundless amounts of potential. I actually feel like there's so many people who want to do that within the Osu community. There's just not really that good of an opportunity to make a return, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like there's so much talented developers, artists, video creators, filmmakers. Like there's amazing talent homegrown within the Osu community. I just feel like there aren't that many interesting avenues for them to invest in to see any meaningful amount of return, whether that be for a portfolio or for actual work. So my headspace going into this is like, how can we set up an infrastructure? Maybe not profitable at the very beginning, but set up the infrastructure so that in the future, people can say, okay, I'm going to make songs for this Osu tournament every single year, and I can rely on that as like a consistent stream of income. Or I'm going to be a staffing for this tournament every single year, and even if it may not be, a full-time income, at least it's something that could grow in something that they can justify the time to spend, hours into this project.
There's something to be said about if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, exactly.
So if it's there, you'll attract people, and if it's there and outreaching, then there will be some inflow. It's really interesting to hear that. And talking about projects and contribution and that, your contribution, I guess, to this tournament in a lot of people's view was the content creation I forget what it's called. The competition where you have to make the best bit of content, and there's a prize at the end of it.
Yeah, the content creator showdown or something like that.
Is that sort of in the same vein as get people involved if they want to contribute and create this bigger sense of community?
Exactly. So I love anyone who wants to I love everyone who shares my vision of investing within the OC community, of trying to push this game further and help this community grow. Fuvel, the host of SSOT, holy shit. This guy goes through so much shit behind the scenes to make this project happen. I have so much respect for this man. All right. So we were trying to come up with ideas of like, okay, this guy is also in a similar situation as me, who's like trying to invest all this capital, all this talent, and bring together people to make something cool happen. How can we make sure that it gets a return? What are some lessons learned from the roundtable from my experience that might help out SSOT? So one of those interesting questions was, how can we bring more eyeballs onto it, right? More viewerships, maybe better sponsorship negotiations and deals, etc., right? So we decided we came up with this idea of what if we created an incentive for people to create videos. It doesn't even matter if the videos are that good. We just want to incentivize people to press record. That's the big thing at the end of the day. Because when you at least get into the mindset of, okay, I want to create something to share, the rest of the process is an iterative process of trial and error, seeing if this video pops off, experimenting with an idea that you enjoy, because that's literally how that's my journey. My journey was literally just uploading videos on Minecraft.
Yeah, that's how it starts, doesn't it? It's like, oh, I had fun. Maybe someone else will have fun. Okay, now I'm gonna have more fun and see if more people will have more fun with me. Yeah, it's bringing people along with you. It's such a nice feeling to have that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's a great thing to be spreading.
So the content creation space in general is still like very, very new, where I feel like anybody could still get in and still like learn the ropes. There's not like college level. Well, actually, there's like I've heard of one or two like college level courses.
Yeah, no, there are degrees. There's esports degrees in the UK.
That is crazy. That is insane to think about.
Yeah.
So, well, that only makes it more legit, right? However, for the most part, for most people starting out, like it really just begins with uploading your first video and seeing how it performs. You are likely going to get 0 views, right? But as long as you enjoyed that process of creating that video, of uploading it, of getting feedback, of sharing it with others, and then trying something different to make it even better for your next video, you are bound to find success eventually, right? So with that sort of mindset, I want to bring that into SSOT, because more people creating content for this tournament will eventually bring more eyeballs into the tournament, which will eventually help the tournament itself and will eventually help the game itself. Is that a trickle down or a trickle up system? I forgot. Either way, everyone benefits. It's the mindset is a rising tide lifts all boats, right?
It does, yeah. Yes. I've heard you say that, and I really like that saying. I really do.
It's beautiful. I didn't coin it per
se.
It's
one of those.
Yeah.
You hear it once and you go, I like that, and then you forget about it for a few years until someone else says it again, and you go, I like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm actually curious because you touched on a point earlier, right? That there's this large subsection. I mean, this is actually probably the majority of people who know about this game, who only interact with it at a very casual level, right? You have people who maybe see the game on TikTok, see the occasional YouTube video, know of the game obviously as an aim trainer. Like I heard about this game through a League video that was like, if you want to improve your creep score and have better aim, play OC. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. Oh wait, this game is better than League. Okay, I'll just go for that, right? But I'm curious, like, because obviously with tournaments, right? Elevating tournaments is awesome for people who are already invested in this game, right? If you're invested in this game, you know about tournaments, you're following all the big ones. It's awesome when tournaments like SSOT come up and kind of elevate the level, right? But I'm curious, what are your thoughts on? Because I think, like, for example, most people who know about this game wouldn't even really know of tournaments as a vague concept. Maybe they occasionally see like OWC if it pops up, but they're not going to be as invested into tournaments, because there's like a pipeline, right, of players who start out as like a 6-digit, you're casually playing, then you rank up a little bit, you're more invested in the competitive aspect, then you hear about tournaments and so on. But I think it all starts with that initial step of just being more invested into playing this game. what are your ideas of like what do you think is keeping back this game? Because I always think about this as well, from entering, more people, those people who watch it on TikTok. Like, how do you reach those people who are on the periphery? How do you get them in?
So I actually feel like the fundamental issue with OSU right now is actually accessibility, which is funny because one of the biggest advantages of OSU is that it's an easily accessible game. You just download it on your desktop, and then it doesn't matter what peripherals you use. You can literally get into it. However, as a person who has literally tried to bring people into this game, like inviting friends over to my house and literally being like, check this out, play this game. You type D, right? It is so hard for a new player to learn how to play this game, right? The very fact that there isn't an onboarding like tutorial system, it's fixed in lazer, but there isn't that sort of system inherent in the game where someone downloads and then is able to learn everything that they need in order to play. Big issue, right? Huge issue. Of course, there's the OSU tutorial, but how does a player know that there is an OSU tutorial? You launch the game, you click play, solo, and then you're given a wide random range of maps.
There's nothing that catapults that into your view. It's like, you have to play this before you play the rest of the game. It's all like, okay, here's the game, go play it, have fun.
I'm not sure if Peppy fixed the thing where like it gives you it first. Maybe that was added later, but I
don't think so, actually.
An onboarding process, at least within stable, still doesn't exist. For the OSU tutorial itself, one of the biggest questions that I get with any new player is how sliders work, right? Some
absolutely.
People click and then let go and then follow along the rest of the slider, and they're like, why did I miss? That's not really explicitly told to a player. You only figure that out through trial and error. A lot of players like us, we take that for granted of like, oh, this is it's common sense. You press and hold, right? Same thing with a spinner, right? And no one tells you that you only need to spin around the little tiny center circle.
Or hold the key while you're spinning.
Yeah, holding the key as well, right? There's so many like tiny intricacies that aren't exactly spelled out, and you can currently the best way for a player to learn is trial and error, and that sucks. That sucks.
Pretty much.
Okay. So the second best thing would be community like guides and stuff, which people have made OSU tutorials. Bubbleman, your OSU gameplay tutorials,
I need to revamp
were
that.
the best in the community, right? So like. It's difficult. It's a difficult situation, right?
It's like the information is out there, but you have to look for it. We're living in a world where everything is provided to you. Everything is like pushed onto your screen. We're living in the short form content era where TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts and stuff, you choose when to stop watching, not what to watch and when to watch it. So
exactly.
Yeah. There needs, you are exactly right. Accessibility is definitely living in the not even the long form content era. It's living in the TV era where you're given something to watch and you can't really choose anything else.
Yeah, which there's an argument to be said of like whether or not that is an advantage or disadvantage, like in the full picture, because the very fact that you do have to put in all this work to get into the game means that the people who did eventually put in that effort, they're much closer, they're much tighter. Everyone has this like inherent understanding of holy shit, you went through the same grind that I did to figure all this out. Yeah. And then that's like a bonding. That's like a place where you can bond together, right? And make friends. Same thing with tournaments. I've spoken with so many different tournament hosts. Even Dio over here, right? About the behind the scenes of how things function, right? Hosting tournaments, right? There's no rule book that spells out how to make a tournament. It's really just, okay, let me volunteer with staffing or refereeing or doing stuff for commentating for a tournament, then seeing some of that, behind the scenes, and then like messaging some of the tournament organizers, be like, yo, let's try to make something together. That's really how it works. Everyone's figuring out at the exact same pace.
a personal experience where Final Fantasy XIV simplified their base content from what it used to be 10 years ago to something now that you don't have to go through the grind anymore. Everyone was sad because, no, the grind, it's a trial, it's a rite of passage, you have to go through it.
Passage.
And now no one remembers. No one, the people who did it are like the old heads of like, I went through the grind.
I kind of agree.
Sorry, Morty. Dude, it is absolutely crazy to me to see people call me an Osu boomer.
Oh yeah, you're old now.
Dude, that makes no sense. I mean, okay, when I spend more than like 5 seconds thinking about it, all right, I've been playing this game for 10 years now. That is actually insane to think about. But when I joined this game, I was like the latecomer. I was like,
you were the new guy.
Cookie Z, that's the talk of the town. Or Cyclone, hey, I remember that guy. Hey, what about like the OGs of OGs? Dude,
did you join when Cookie Z was still not banned yet? Important question.
So when I first joined Osu, I didn't even know about the competitive system. I just liked playing the game, right? So I didn't actually know. I've heard of Cookie Z. I saw him on the leaderboard, I believe, and then I saw he disappeared. Then I do vividly remember the unban. Like, right. I was in. I remember that as well. Osu game at that point. I was unfortunately interacting with #Osu, like the Osu channels.
Everyone's first mistake. No,
I do vividly remember the unban.
I remember joining the game just after he got banned and hearing the name Cookie Z thrown around. Like, this guy had gotten. It was a complete mystery to me. A complete like enigma to who this person was. If they were I thought they were a cheater for a while, just because I had no experience of like, who is this guy? I've not seen any scores from them on the leaderboard. Like, they must have been banned or something. And then the unban happened. I was like, oh, wait, they exist? Huh?
They're real?
Who?
Cookie Z is real?
I just remember seeing like 40. Burst limit scores when I first joined, and I was like, who is this guy? Like, what? Why is everybody making a big deal out of this? And then Cookie Z unban happened, and I was like, I understand now. Okay.
Great to see you, Dio.
How old is your account, Vordy? Oh yeah, I snuck in there.
I technically I made my account in 2015. My first experience of the game was hopping on. The highest star rating map I had in my library that was like auto in the game, right, was Lost, which is like a 4-star KTG map.
The old bundled map.
And Lost by Chasers. I think that's still in the bundle. I think that's still in there, actually.
But then here's what happened. I looked at the top replay, which was Toy Hidden Hard Rock, which in retrospect, it's like a 5-star map with Hidden Hard Rock, like, an average 5-digit play. I've seen it now. I was like, this guy's either cheating or he's memorized every single node in the map. There's no way any human being can play this. This is impossible. I played the game for a little bit, and then 2019 is when I actually started. But yeah, the game looked as an newcomer, even a 4-star map with Hidden Hard Rock is like impossible.
That's one of those accessibility things you were talking about as well. Like, anything above 2 or 3 stars to anyone watching is like, how are they doing that? How is that possible?
The first large barrier that people like experience when they play the game is a 3-star map, right? The moment you start going, the transition from like snake-like patterns to actual like stars.
Because the game is so different.
Reading.
Yeah,
it's a huge like slap in the face, bro.
Yeah, the transition from time distance equality in mapping to not having that anymore.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
I wonder if anyone would ever actually map a 2-star map, as in like the style of a 3-star map, but just easier. I wonder if that's even possible.
I think if you have a BTM low enough, maybe BTM low enough.
I think I got flamed because I made like a Beast Troll MC's easy difficulty for like, I think this is for Will Stetson's Haramachi Clover, and I made like a giant ass triangle, and they were like, this is impossible for any like 7-digit to read.
Yeah, nobody can comprehend any acute angles. Yeah, not possible.
Oh god.
How are you, Dio? Just to jump in.
Well, I woke up, grabbed a shower, grabbed coffee, and now I'm here. So, good morning.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Good morning.
I will be replaced with Doomsday when the match is starting in about half an hour, but for now I'm here while he's getting ready. He's prepping. So
are they busting out the suits? Is Dooms bringing out the suit?
Oh, I have no idea.
It'd be funny if he was the only person in a suit and me and Dio just like chilling.
I'll text him.
Yeah,
I love the culture. I love
hoodie and beanie on. Like,
oh, dude, I'm just comfy, bro. I'm just chilling.
Hair day. I have a really bad hair day. I haven't had a haircut in about 2 months.
When you busted out the full-on like suit and tie, oh my god, dude, that was incredible.
Fun time. Speaking of roundtable, we had a Twitter question about roundtable actually. Rabin asks, can you tell us more about the process between the first and second roundtable, as in how you improved on not only the quality but also the quantity of events we got from those few days? What did you improve on? Any goals you had in mind? Any sponsorships? Basically, what was it like going from 1 to 2?
Okay, this is a very complicated situation. So the planning process from the roundtable 1 to 2, I felt like wouldn't be that difficult. So my approach was, okay, we have a basic structure that we laid out with the roundtable 1, and that was organized in like 3 weeks, right? So we have an entire year to work with. We had basically the same team that we had for roundtable 1, except I was like, all right, I'll make sure that we have the money to fund this. I just need you guys to basically plan everything. And the idea was 1 month before the event, I would need the team to brief me on basically what's going on, and then we could basically run the event. The only problem was I made the mistake of not realizing that I basically am the key thing that holds everything together. So when I came in like 1 month before the event actually started, I'm like, fuck. We had issues with like the GFX with GFX not being finished. We had issues with like I believe we just had the venue like finally secured or something like that. We were still like weighing options, and we had like an entire year to plan all of this stuff out. You would think that stuff like that could be planned out literally within like a month. Why does it have to be the very last month? Right?
I guess it was, yeah. It was planned in a month.
So it's like, crap. Well, there were some things that were absolutely done phenomenally, which the custom music that we had done along with the custom maps, although I do wish that we gave the mappers a bit more time. I believe I heard that a lot of the mappers only got like a couple weeks, if that, to actually finish up their maps.
I worked on those, so most of them were 2 months at least to work on the map. So they did have at least, 8 weeks or so.
Okay, that's great.
One of them just like was not responsive and not finishing. And so I had to find somebody else to map a custom tiebreaker in like 2 weeks. And I contacted Down, the mapper, Down, and he gave me a full 5-minute map, the finals tiebreaker, in less than 24 hours. He was done in less than a day, dude.
So impressive.
Like that guy's insane.
Incredible.
That guy's massive. So
creative genius.
That was like the only snag we hit with the map pools. Everything else was done completely fine. But yeah,
phenomenally. However, ideally we do have more time, right? I hate putting people on like overtime on the rush. However, the reason why we ended up having such a very stressful time at the end of the day was because we were trying to make so many different strides in terms of improvement. One of the biggest areas that we were trying to improve was the accessibility part that we mentioned earlier. How can we make Osu, the game, more understandable to new audiences? How can we make the formats that we're introducing easier to understand? Which the Battle Royale, we had this custom overlay that showed in real time where a player stands visually against other players in the same lobby. And Osu currently doesn't give you the correct what's called values and real-time stats for you to actually measure that. We had to do it through this like hacky type of like way by reading from the game's memory using a program called Gosu Memory. That's literally developed by like some by a community member, right? And it runs this sort of like low level stress risk of like if Peppy literally presses the update button for Osu Stable, it could literally break everything. A year of planning flushed down the toilet, but we were like, oh, screw it, let's do it. But we were trying to organize all these like innovative ways to present the gameplay in a better way. And we're still trying to come up with more ideas for that. But that also means there's a lot of development work that goes on behind the scenes, utilizing web hooks. And Deadro can speak about this more into more depth than me. But that sort of complexity was one of the one of the biggest areas that we're investing into. So accessibility. There was also turning the roundtable event into an experience for the players and staff. We don't want it just to be like this gathering of players and a show. We want to make sure that all the people who are there, who take time out of their days to come to this event in person, that they're well taken care of. So we spent a lot of time in making sure that the venue had a lot of amenities, that it was very spacious, that people could actually have fun at the event, right? Unfortunately, the cost for that meant that we had less time for preparation, and then that caused another gigantic fire. And there's all these tiny things that goes into a venue that most people completely write off, but are absolutely core. Like parking. Where do people park? Are there enough bathrooms for people to use? In the roundtable one, there was like actually this might be part of the iceberg, but the guest bathroom that everyone used got flooded. It was a nightmare. Oh my god. So tiny things like that are just so important, and like it also makes infrastructure. Oh my god, we had so many internet issues at the roundtable too, right? Back at the roundtable one, since we used our own house, and we had like gigabit internet. We asked the venue to upgrade the internet like months in advance. We finally get into the venue. They didn't upgrade it. That's okay, because I ordered a Starlink satellite to come in just in case. I ordered it. They said that it should have arrived like a day before the prep for the event would begin. It was still being when I checked on that day, and then I'm like, okay, that's okay, because I booted up my IRL backpack. 4 individual cellular plans should be operational. So last minute, if anything else fails, I should be able to IRL stream from a backpack for the event. We were located in this area of the Hollywood Hills, like in the actual hills part, which sounds cool, but there's like no cellular connection there. I had to run out to the driveway to send out a tweet.
Seeing you sprinting past behind me as I'm sat like properly setting up my client, I'm like, what is going on? He's sprinting with this backpack on, with his phone like held up to the sky.
Oh my god.
What a nightmare!
What a nightmare! Yeah, the stories, I guess, is secondhand fun.
Yeah,
may not be fun at the moment, but it's great to tell stories.
Oh yeah, for sure. As a result, like the end product is something that I wish could have been improved. There were a lot of things on paper that I definitely hear from the community of like, we want to see Ed on stream more, because I was like trying to like put out fires and figure out how to band-aid fix all these things last minute. I couldn't be on the stream
as much as I would have. Like your presence on stream is directly correlated to how well everything is going behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So if you don't see Ed on a stream at the roundtable, something is burning. Yeah. So there's smoke somewhere in the vicinity, and there's a fire extinguisher on the go.
I will say the one saving grace is that like a lot of people like see the work that's being put in. A lot of people realize that the roundtable is this community event by OSU players for OSU players, right? We don't actually know what we're doing. We're figuring that out as we move forward. And what I find is the most inspiring part out of all of this is that people recognize that sort of effort, and it also brings people together, right? And it's not just OSU players, it's industry people all together. I talk about this project with industry professionals. They're like, wow, this is incredible. Yeah, that was dumb how you didn't plan for this in advance, but that's okay. We can help with that. And so we're talking with all these individual people like, okay, how can we get people together? The only problem is project management is also one of those areas that I absolutely suck at. So we're figuring that out as we go.
I mean, that's what you've been doing for the last like 3 or 4 days, right? Is a project management app. And I've seen you streaming 10, 12-hour days trying to set up this project management app.
Oh, we're nuking that, by the way. we encountered a roadblock that is a deal breaker on it, so now I have to reset it up on an entirely different one.
Oh heck Fun. Yeah, we love it. Okay, well, transferable skills and all that.
God damn.
Okay, this is an interesting segue. Transferable skills. There was another Twitter question by Liquidation, who asked, what is your actual stance on rapid trigger? So you seem to have a very mixed response to it from what they remember, where one day it's an awesome feature and the next it should never existed. So what's your thoughts on it?
So
I'm interested to hear this.
This is a great question, but how is that related to transferable skills? Hold on.
Transferable skills from non-rapid trigger to rapid trigger.
Okay, sure. That's a fair point. I was thinking more of like transferable skills of like, okay, you're an Osu streamer. That's great. What's on your resume?
Oh yeah, no. Well,
brother, my resume still has like my experience working at a movie theater scooping popcorn. All right. Not the best.
You know, customer facing. It's you have to respond to the customer's needs. Things like you can phrase anything, right? If you see it in the right way, you can phrase anything.
I've just accepted that, like, if God forbid something happens, right? Maybe my left arm gets chopped off and I can't do anything in Osu anymore, right? Or something prevents me from actually like pursuing this career as full time. Like, I'm basically trusting that like my interactions with industry people throughout being in LA will eventually allow me to get an in somewhere, right?
Hey,
that's what I'm banking on.
That
is my backup plan.
Your CV is packed. It's got events management, project management, PR, content creation and editing. You've done it all, man. You've done networking. You've done what haven't you done?
Now that you mention it, that's true. The question is it done well? We're still figuring it out.
Does that matter for a CV? If you look, portfolios or curated examples of when you did things well. So you have a huge portfolio because you've done a lot of things well, even if a lot of other things haven't been done well. Your CV is incredibly stacked. Like,
so I guess so. Hopefully, we'll never have to update that.
Yeah. No, update it in the best way by adding more cool things.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so the Twitter question, could you repeat that one to me?
So
it was rapid trigger, right?
Boils down to what's your actual stance on rapid trigger?
Okay, so I have a love-hate relationship with it. Okay, so on a overall view, I think the introduction of new technology that allows players to basically represent their skill is awesome, right? I think that foundationally is awesome. However, I feel like that also introduces another problem in the accessibility, larger issue, because every single day when I talk with people who are familiar with Osu, the first thing that they say is, "Oh, that's the game where you use a tablet or like a drawing pad or something, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, but you don't technically need it, right?" The difference between mouse and tablet, it is there, right? Tablet is objectively the better peripheral to use. However, I feel like arguably, right? However, you can still be an incredible player, proven to be the number one player back when Flying Tuna used the mouse, like using a mouse, right?
Yeah.
It's so associated with tablets nowadays because everyone wants the marginal increase in performance. However, that also creates a barrier to entry, because when people look towards Osu, they look towards like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm set up to perform my best. And now they're looking at this upfront investment of like $50 to $100 to get the best tablet, right? And now with the introduction of rapid trigger, it creates another barrier of entry of like, okay, now I need to front this extra $200 expense for a rapid trigger enabled keyboard, or now there's like the Wooding Woo, so now it's a $60 option. But like anything that prevents a player from just jumping in and just experiencing the game, I feel like is overall like a negative, right? As for my personal opinion, here's where I stand as a player, okay? I hate the idea of having my skill dictated by my peripherals. I like to think that skill comes from me as a player, and that your peripherals are just there to express and showcase that, right? I know for a fact that I'm good enough to set scores without rapid trigger. I'm afraid that if I introduced it into my peripherals now, that it then discredits all of my scores because I use rapid trigger.
That's
so
a really
fair example of
this.
This is a real life example. All right, this happened. You can actually go back in my old YouTube videos about this. Right, when I first switched to a tablet, when I first tried using a tablet, I only got it because my friend bought it to get into graphics design, hated it, and then wanted to get rid of it. So he sold it to me for like $50. This was like 14-year-old Ed. $50? Holy shit, dude. I had to mow lawns on weekends. I sold lemonade. Like, dude, $50 is a lot of money. But I heard about all these great things about the tablet, how it makes you better at the game. It's so insane. So I grinded and I got a tablet from him. I plugged it in and I'm like, damn, this is dog shit. I hate this. I'm so used to using a mouse. Like, this feels weird. Like, I feel like I'm going to school or something. Like, I don't like this, man. But I spent $50. $50 is a lot of money. So I'm like, okay, screw it. I don't even care. I will find a way to make it work. And so after grinding for like 2 weeks straight, I finally got back to a level of aim where it's like equivalent to me with the mouse, right? However, when I started uploading videos with me using a tablet, I got comments saying that, oh my God, if you were on a mouse, you would be dog shit. You would be good. You wouldn't be as good if you were using a mouse. And I'm like, I played with a mouse for like a year and a half at that point. What are you talking about? I literally just switched. I finally got good enough again. It infuriated me, dude. I was livid. I was like, dude, what the hell? So I literally switched back to a mouse, played a jump map, and topped my locals. Grinded until I topped my locals using a mouse. I topped my tablet locals using a mouse just to spite this dude, just to prove to him that I'm the player here, not the peripheral. So I'm in this situation right now, like current day, present day, like 2024. Okay, the coffee's hitting, by the way. I don't know if you can tell. But
I can tell.
Yeah.
Present day 2024. I'm in this situation where like it's obvious that there are scores that people are looking forward to and scores that I genuinely want to set, right? Eventually, I will set my 1K. Eventually, we could even jump to 1.1K. I would love to get the first FC on Libera. I'd love to get the first FC on a variety of different stream maps that slowly dwindling away because MREC is FCing everything. But
I've seen them.
Yeah.
I am so afraid of that situation happening again, where if I introduce a new peripheral, that all of a sudden everyone will credit that peripheral with the reasoning for my success.
So, okay.
I hate that.
Counter argument, right? In 1974, Rubik's Cube was released as a commercial product. Since then, there have been many different cubes released on the market that are faster. Do you think that solving with a cube, and I saw this on your stream, which is why I bring it up. Do you think
I didn't solve this? I don't know how to solve this anymore.
Do you think that discredits the people who set good times on the original Rubik's Cube? And do you think that the Rubik's Cube should be used for every time?
No.
So
this
then
is just a personal thing. This is just a personal thing. This is just me. Like I'm just that guy.
It's not logical. It's emotional.
It's emotional.
Exactly.
What you're saying.
Like I don't apply this opinion onto other people. Okay. Other people who set scores on Rapid Trigger, all right, who use a tablet, phenomenal, insane, incredible. However, I am extremely ed-pilled, where like I just want to improve myself. All right. Following other people's scores, that's a secondary thing. Like, yeah, I do care about how my friends progress through the scores, but I care the most about watching myself progress. You know what I'm saying? So like, because of that mindset, I'm like, okay, I know I take it as a challenge instead of like, okay, everyone is using Rapid Trigger. Let me see if I can get a 1K without it. Let me see if I can get the first FC on this insanely fast stream map without it, right? And I know it's been done before. Like Eterna was able to stream 300 BPM death streams without Rapid Trigger. It's doable. Yep. And if they can do it, I can too.
I think from my point of view, it adds margin for error. So the whole thing about the Rubik's Cube was that you had to line up every face to turn it properly. Whereas now for cubes, you can turn a face without having it aligned. So it's that little bit of margin for error that it adds. So to perform higher, maybe your skill outshines where the technology and where the hardware caps you at, basically. So having that idea of I can do this, that's actually, I respect that because it isn't the hardware capping you fully. It's just adding that little bit of margin for error. Maybe you don't quite reach the actuation point of your key to release it, but you still continue tapping in the same motion. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Okay,
I see your reasoning.
So I think that's all the time we have, actually. So I think that's going to be it for the BTMC desk session. Ed, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're going to be getting into the grand finals in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Damn right. God.
All right, welcome back to SSOT. We're just about to get ready for the grand finals, and we are going to have Mr. Bubbleman here swapping out for Doomsday for the grand finals cast. So thank you, Bubbleman, for the time earlier today. And welcome Doomsday, who is now doing his best Bubbleman cosplay. Never mind, now he's fully Doomsday. Good morning.
Good morning, Dio, and good afternoon, good evening to everyone else. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm sorry I couldn't appear earlier. Dio, thank you very much for the sub during the BTMC deck session. It was nice to listen in while I was getting some last minute prepping for this absolute barnstormer of a match we're about to have.
Yeah.
It's time.
Vorty, this is going to be a good one. Let's get the rundown on the matchup for grand finals.
All right, so we obviously got Suntan coming out as second seed, but obviously first in the bracket now, having not lost a match. Their closest match was up against I'm Korean 2. It was a 7-5. Honestly, could have gone either way with how stacked both of these teams are. We have I'm Korean 2 winning their match in losers by a pretty good margin up against chipi, chapa, chapa. Notably off the back of just insane comfort with the gimmicky maps, with the the tech maps, the hiddens, the ones especially with worst HR player on some of these slots, just putting up a show. Henry as well. Now, Suntan, on the other hand, I think is a little bit more even with their skill set, notably in the speed skill set. Now, we did have 3 people missing in their losers bracket matchup from I'm Korean 2, notably 3 players who would all be on speed maps. So with this matchup, I'm thinking, if you have Restia, Rectagon, Window Life, and Enri all ready to play speed, and on the other side of Suntan, you have players like Malashevsky and Emrek and Kriller all ready to play the gimmicky stuff that worst HR player will want to pick into. I genuinely think if all 8 players are already on either team, you're going to get some advantages, notably with Suntan on speed, probably I'm Korean 2 on gimmick, but I think anything is a toss-up on this pool. The players are just so good that if anyone's having a good day, anybody's ready, like anything can happen, genuinely.
Well, it's going to be a good one. We're going to get a quick couple of interviews, actually, with each team captain before the match, starting off with the team captain for I'm Korean 2. So let's welcome Zhongwei Young for an interview here. All right. Good morning. Hello, Zhongwei Young.
Oh, hello.
Hello. So how are you feeling about the match today? How did your team prepare? And how are you thinking this one is going to go?
한 번만 더 봐주시겠어요? 잘 안 들려가지고. 일단 팀 분위기는 굉장히 좋고요. 지금 오늘 매치를 이기려고 저희 팀에 굉장히 준비를 많이 했습니다.
He said that his team prepared really well, and he is prepared to win. He's excited to win.
All right. He said his team is prepared well. He's ready to win, excited to win. Was there anything that you went into for grand finals differently from losers bracket finals yesterday? Was there anything different in preparation or any different strategies you plan on using today?
어제 루저 브라켓 때 일단은 그 치피 차파차 그 상대에서 굉장히 이제 스피드가 강해가지고 저희도 스피드를 이제 보강을 해야겠다 그렇게 생각을 해가지고 저희도 이제 스피드를 보강하려고 이제 팀원들이랑 스피드 연습을 굉장히 많이 해왔습니다. 그리고 저 AI 같은 경우에도 이번 상대에는 이제 강한 플레이어들이 굉장히 많기 때문에 그거에 대해서도 저희 팀끼리 굉장히 이제 대화를 많이 하면서 이제 그런 맵들을 이제 우리가 이길 수 있도록 이제 그 준비를 열심히 했습니다.
Yeah, they felt that they had a weakness in speed as well as low AR picks, so they tried their best preparing that kind of maps.
All right. So basically, they felt they had a weakness in speed and low approach rate. So versus Suntan, at least. So they're prepared to go into this one with good rosters for the speed maps and low AR maps. Zhang Weiyong, thank you so much. We only have so much time, so we're going to get Nineric in next. But thank you, Zhang Weiyong, for the interview. Good luck in the match.
Good luck.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And now, hello, Eric. Hello, Nineric, captain of Suntan. How's it going this? Well, not morning for you. How's it going this afternoon?
Hey, it's going pretty good. What's up?
Well,
What's up,
just asking a couple questions. How are you feeling about the match? How are you feeling about grand finals here?
Man, I'm really nervous actually, because it's my one of my first times making it this far in like a really high-end tournament. So I'm a little shaky. I'm not gonna lie, but
Okay.
I'm really excited more than anything.
This is a rematch of winners finals. Your team won that 7-5. How was it getting into grand finals from the winners side?
That was a really good feeling, honestly. I thought I really was nervous about it going to tiebreaker, to be honest, but yeah, I honestly can't believe we managed to win that.
Okay.
It was a really, really great feeling overall.
Nice. Any different sort of prep you did for this match versus for the winners finals, or pretty much the same sort of strategy and preparation as winners finals last week?
It was nearly the same thing, pretty much. I think the only difference is that this time we practiced a lot more than we did last time. I know last week Emmerich barely practiced, but this time he's put a lot of effort in. I think everyone has put in really, really huge amounts of effort. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. The only difference is that we practice more. And I think we have our lineups ready pretty much right off the bat. Last time we kind of just winged it.
As you do.
But yeah.
As you do sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but this time overall we're just more prepared.
Nice. Well, I think that's going to be it. It's actually time for the match to start. So, Eric, good luck in grand finals. And we're going to get ready to go for our cast as well. Let's get into grand finals.
I just lost a roll. No.
That's a great start. Good luck.
All right, bye. See ya.
Bye.
Yep.
All right, cool. So heading into this match, just quickly covering, I think, the key players we expect to see on both sides, which is especially crucial in this one. Obviously, normal team size 8. You're normally expecting 4 on each team to be played, but I mean, with the 1s, with the 2s, you can get some carries. And we have Malashevsky, the MVP for Suntan's last match, I believe, also getting the highest match cost out of any player in that stage, followed by Emmerich, of course. I think you're going to expect to see on Suntan, Malashevsky, Emmerich. You're going to expect to see them on most maps, doing what they do best.
Yeah, it's the power duo, isn't it? And especially when you're at this kind of difficulty, it's nice to have players to rely on at this point. I think both teams have those, but no doubt all eyes are going to be on Malashevsky, on Emmerich, on the side of Suntan to do some special plays today. It is the biggest stage, and these are the players built for the biggest stage, aren't they?
And indeed so. And on the other side of I'm Korean 2, I think the big focus on I'm Korean 2, we saw this in the Losers Grand Finals. It's going to be worst HR player. I mean, they first picked Hidden 1, obviously, in this tournament. Both teams get to pick a map before any bans come out. Worst HR player playing the Hidden 1, an insane aim control low AR map, and playing it pretty insanely well, getting I think over 500k. Same with the free mod 1. But backing him, what's good is worst HR player on the 2s also has Enri on a lot of these tech maps. Enri going crazy on I believe the No Mod 2 flashes, an insane aim control map. So both of these teams have a really powerful 2. But I mean the rest of the teams are also stacked with just star players everywhere. You can see worst HR player with the MVP in his match, and I expect to see them lean into the 1s, the 2s, to play around him.
Yeah, even against Suntan, the specialists are so strong on I'm Korean. You do feel like they have the edge on those lower play count gimmicky maps, and there's plenty to work with. You can't just ban them all out. Saying after the last match, where Tatakae player is in great form. I can't wait to see him after he's already had a warm up yesterday. I think though, in terms of this head to head, though, it's compared to the winners final, where a lot of the speedier maps were limited to the lower play count slots. I suppose there's a few more spread around the higher play count sorts of maps, and I'm wondering how that's going to play out in this matchup against a team so strong on speed in Suntan.
It's interesting because obviously on paper, Suntan is going to have the speed advantage. I do expect to see I'm Korean 2 double ban DT because I think they're going to have a much better time on any other skill set, on aim, on gimmick, on tech, on rating, anything else. They'd prefer to play than speed. Noticeably, we saw 3 speed players missing from I'm Korean 2's roster in their Losers Grand Finals match. If those players are here today, I think they'll have a lot better of a time trying to contest whatever they leave open. They banned DT2 and DT3 yesterday. I expect to see them either reban those same maps or ban a different speed map, right? They lost. DT4 was by far their biggest margin of loss. I think it was a triple score from chipi chapa. So expect to see Suntan go right into speed. But then once the speed is exhausted, which they'll only get to play 2 real speed maps, after that, you just have, aim, you have tech, you have other things that I'm Korean 2 will be able to play very, very well. So I think once both teams get out their 1 or 2 really solid wins, it's all up in the air at that point.
Yeah, out of the first few maps, yeah.
I hate to cut you off, but we're 5 minutes over, so let's go ahead and take a look at the staff pick here. The staff picks for Grand Finals, if we can get that up. And I think most people predicting a win for I'm Korean 2 in the Losers Finals, but quite a few people predicting Suntan in the Grand Finals. I think the majority predicting Suntan for Grand Finals, either through reset or not through bracket reset. I think a lot of that probably due to how the winners finals went. It was close. So quite a lot of people expecting there to be bracket reset, even if Suntan wins, but a pretty good spread of predictions between the two teams. And again, just goes to show how close the two are. Despite the majority being Suntan, seeing so many predict bracket reset should tell you that there's quite a lot of people with some faith in I'm Korean 2 for this one.
Understandably so. Sure. Yeah. I go on, buddy.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, you have good reason to. I think especially after how I think most of these picks were done before the Losers Grand Finals, but I mean, I think now after the show, worst HR player put on some of his specialty maps, I could definitely imagine more people predicting I'm Korean 2, because obviously on the side of Suntan for the gimmickier skill sets, you probably are looking to either Malashevsky, Krill, or Emmerich in most cases. I don't know if they can necessarily match up to worst HR player, but we're getting into it.
We are getting into it. Let's get started with SSOT Grand Finals. Suntan versus I'm Korean 2. All right, and of course, the format for this tournament a little bit different from usual, on top of the fact that you have different size of team size for each individual pick. If it's DT1, it's a 1v1. If it's DT2, like this map, it's a 2v2. DT3 is 3v3. DT4 is 4v4. That holds true for all mod pools. You also have the first picks come out before any bans. So we're going to get first pick for each team before we do one ban, and then the second and third pick for each team before we do the second round of bans. First pick here for Suntan is DT2 Asymmetry by Rail.
I mean, this is an expected first pick. I'm Korean 2 ended up banning this at some point. This is a AR 10.6, extremely high skill cap, almost 9 stars. Sort of a more traditional DT1 style. It's DTM consistency with some bursts. This is something you expect MREC to be probably the most comfortable in the entire lobby at. You also have Nahu's phenomenal DTM players. I mean, you have potentially, you could argue that when it comes to high AR, high BPM aim, MREC and Nahus are like, top of their field. And obviously, on all of these maps, all of the players here are so good, they're going to be able to put up a good fight, but 10.6, this skill level, it's not something that most players can just go into. We do see Window Life and Henry on the side of I'm Korean 2. That's good to see, because Window Life wasn't in the Losers Grand Finals. Their speed is going to be a lot stronger in this matchup with him.
Yeah, their specialists on this sort of thing are going to be so strong, but in the Winners Final, we did see I'm Korean, particularly Henry and Window Life, punch really high above their weight on this sort of style, so anything's possible, Vordy. And it's kicking off the Grand Finals. Here we go.
Looks like, unfortunately, we're going to get an abort real quick, as it seemed like Henry stopped playing there for a second, so maybe not quite ready to get into it, but we are going to see MREC and Nahus on this for Suntan versus Window Life and Henry. And I think this is a really good pick for Suntan, specifically because MREC and Nahus on DT aim are just nigh unmatched, even among the top 10. I mean, there's a couple of players like Lifeline, right? But so ridiculously good DT aim for this squad.
Okay, round 2. Now we are beginning, for real this time. The Grand Finals of SSOT. Oh boy.
Yeah, this one's AR 10.6, OD 10.1. This is a classic. There is the set with the Skystar difficulty of this as well, but this one a separate set, I believe by Pan, if I'm remembering right. It might be by Captain though. I know there's this Pan diff on this set, but I think this overall set is by Captain. Early miss for both MREC and Nahus though. Henry and Window Life off to a good start on this map, as now we get the first KI time.
Good start here, just a little bit more consistency, but map's long enough to make that change, and at this level, I can't see the combos going too high. The FCs are now down for I'm Korean. Nice recovery here from... Oh, never mind! They're both broke again, so it is going to be with I'm Korean as we get into the second verse here overall.
And they're going to need some added consistency there. Another break to come through for Nahus, and Henry and Window Life with combo advantage over MREC and Nahus here. Going really well for I'm Korean 2 on the first pick from Suntan. This is a pick that they were very confident in these two players for, and I'm Korean 2 just looking very solid. Window Life will find a reset, but Henry on over 400 combo on this map is not something I'd be saying. Usually when you think of Henry, you think of a speed player and a reading player on lower approach rate, not these higher approach rate DT aim maps. So showcasing the versatility for Henry here. Nahu's going to find another drop as well. It's just MREC versus Henry right now. And usually you take MREC, but there's another couple of misses in this KI time, and Henry is still going. This first pick for Suntan completely gone awry, as Henry with over 700 combo, putting the score ridiculously far ahead for I'm Korean 2. I mean, this is 600k team score barely for Suntan versus now well over 700k for I'm Korean 2. It doesn't sound like a lot, but 150k when that's a quarter of the other team's overall score is quite a bit. Henry will finally drop, but Window Life's there to pick up the slack, and Nahus, even with that combo, can't do anything about this score lead.
I'm getting deja vu here, Dio. We were saying about how strong Suntan are in DT, and I'm Korean took it in that winners final. It's happening again. First pick. Huge steal here, and this is crazy on super high AR against Nahus and MREC. This is a massive steal, Dio.
Yeah, there's only so much map left, and there was combo for MREC and Nahus, but gone now is the combo, and gone now are the chances of this first pick going their way. I'm Korean 2 start off the Grand Finals with a breakpoint against Suntan on their first pick.
Really
Man,
nice
you gotta
combo
be
there.
kicking yourself in the feet if you're Suntan here. It's so important in this tournament, especially to win your first pick, just because that's before any bans come out. You have your entire pick out of any map in the pool. You really, really want to be confident on winning it. On paper, this is something that I think Suntan should have been supremely confident on, but I mean, I'm Korean 2 putting up such a good performance from their end, and obviously narrowly getting that first breakpoint on 80k. They got to be feeling super confident. Potentially, Suntan should have picked into the speedier maps instead. Obviously, this is more aim focused. But, that's the difference. It's not just Enry obviously playing really well. They obviously have Window Life this time, who they didn't have last time, putting up a great performance as well. And that's a great start for I'm Korean 2.
What a start. And they're going to stick to their guns in their first pick to try and make something happen into the 1v1 low AR hidden. This is their first pick yesterday, too. And it was a clinic from worst HR player. I can imagine he's going to be back in for this one.
Yeah, the doctor is going to be back in the clinic. The question is, who's going to be his patient? Because on the side of Suntan, I'm not too sure who they're going to field. My guess is Malashevsky or Kriller. You want somebody who's really good at aim control. You want somebody who's really good at low AR. That's what this map tests. But the thing is, in the entirety, in this entire game, I don't know if there's a single player who does it as good as worst HR player, but we'll see. It's going to be Malashevsky up against worst HR player. And man, when I looked at this map the first time, I was like, this just has worst HR player's name all over it.
Yeah, straight up. Tons of control flow aim, tons of overlap reading, and just tons of rhythm control. And, well, that all sounds like a foreign map to me. He's playing into Malashevsky. He himself, very, very capable on this style. Maybe not on the low AR. If he hasn't had tons and tons of practice, though, it may be a good pick. We'll see how he manages it.
This one, a custom map by Dectopia. Thank you to Dectopia for this one. And Dectopia, usually a low AR hidden reading player for Team OWC Japan. So you get a custom map done by somebody who plays this skill set, and they can sometimes just come up with some of the most obscene patterns you've ever seen. Already a break for Malashevsky, first early on, and second on that cut double stream. Another break there with an over tap, and it's just worst HR player off the races, already up over 60k and climbing here for Forum. And hits the wiggle. Malashevsky's going to miss on that as well. And this is just already going very, very well for worst HR player and for I'm Korean 2. We heard from Jung Woo-young before this match started, the captain for I'm Korean 2, that they were definitely a little scared of the low approach rate from Suntan, but I think the practice has paid off in spades here, as worst HR player up over 100,000 score in this 1v1 already, just a third of the way through the map.
Yeah, he's just cooking on this one. Malashevsky definitely struggling on these patterns. He's struggling to get a combo together. And unless he can find something smartish, he's not going to be able to pull this lead back with his score being doubled. The practice is paying off, and honestly, 98% on this is just disgusting behavior. This is not okay from Forum. Even if he's practiced a lot, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there's rhythm changes and XL decel streams, cut stuff, overlapping patterns. The aim control on these 1/3 is crazy too. And Malashevsky's finally got a combo together. Guess what? It's being matched by Forum once again. Forum did find a miss, so it's not the FC, but does it really matter right now? Up not quite 100k at this point. Does drop the combo, does drop the accuracy there. And now Malashevsky actually does have the combo. He's going to have to hold for quite a bit to bring this back. But it's looking more doable now for the reading player from Suntan. And, well, worst HR player, again, recovering with a little bit of extra combo. This is now looking a little bit dicey here. You're down now 50k, 600 combo for Malashevsky. He's still going after that pattern as well. Hits that space triple, hits the finger control here.
Oh my god.
And he's still making this work. We're now 10k away, Dooms. Like, this is going back the way of Suntan. He finally drops. Forum is just barely ahead at this point. It's about a 2k lead or so, less than 5k for worst HR player. He's ahead in the combo. If he doesn't break, he can still hold on to this win. But this is going to be a close one. Yesterday's score not replicated for worst HR player. I think he got over 500k yesterday against the side of chipi chapa chapa. but this score still likely enough to bring home the win on this first pick for I'm Korean 2, and there it is, 34K, but it is still a win for worst HR player. Very, very close at the end of it with that massive 700 combo for Malashevsky.
That was a ludicrous comeback attempt. 700 combo through those patterns there. I think he must have heard his DO, but my God, he was within touching distance there of an insane comeback, but it wasn't to be. At game, strong.
2 maps in and my heart's already racing, dude. That was way too close for 2 maps in. Oh man, but yeah, I mean, at the very least, that's a good sign that Malashevsky isn't too far behind worst HR player today potentially. And when they go for the 2 slots, if potentially Malashevsky's teammate is feeling more comfortable than I'm Korean 2's teammate, they'll have some fighting chance there. But I think you got to feel pretty good if you're I'm Korean 2 winning those first 2 picks into their first ban. We got the first bans coming out. Each team gets to take a map out of the pool. I imagine I'm Korean 2 still just bans a DT, probably DT 3, 4, or 1. All of them, have speed and stamina as the focal points. It's really up to which ones they want to leave open, that they can break point the best, especially if they have their tapping players. They ban No Mod 4. Okay, this is an interesting one. Very, very practice heavy, gimmicky low AR map. Obviously, Jongwon did mention in the interview that he's afraid of their low AR potentially, but I'm still surprised you banned that when you have players like worst HR player doing what he just did, Boshi. Yeah, I'm intrigued by that ban.
I suppose it's the 4v4. They're worried about a strong 4. Maybe they can't have a 4th player that's really comfortable on something like that, which is understandable because of how specific of a skill set that is for tournament play. Barely exists. Fair enough. But that ban's curious. The DT4 banned out by Suntan. They must be worried about those returning players.
I mean, it has to be the returning players, right? Because based on their performance from yesterday, there's no world in which you banned that map. So it has to be they're afraid of what... I'm still surprised they banned that, though, because they don't know how good their DT4 is, versus they can be confident that they're going to be insane on something like Free Mod 1, worst HR player, No Mod 2, Hidden 2, things like that, where I'm Korean 2 can put up a good score. It's intriguing to ban a map that, on paper you should be more comfortable on, but who knows what they're thinking with that one.
Unless it's like flipped and it was actually Suntan banning the No Mod 4, but
that would make a lot more sense to me, because in my mind I would imagine the reverse is banned, but according to the host, it's not, which is
wow. Okay.
Well, whenever you look at a match, you're like, oh yeah, they should ban this and the other team should ban that, and it's reversed. I'm like, man, what was I thinking? But it's going to be Suntan picking the No Mod 3. So I think, in my mind, after speed, if speed doesn't work, you go into aim. Because other than aim, you don't really have too much, I think, where Suntan's going to be extremely confident on. Just because on techie stuff, on gimmicky stuff, I'm Korean 2 is going to be so good. But on the aim maps, I think Suntan's going to be able to perform really, really well. Notably, Emrek, Malice, you have Zudinator, you have some insane aim players. Also, Suntan has the advantage, being in Winners Grand Finals, they know some of I'm Korean 2 scores, and it's not the same way reversed. So they got to see I'm Korean 2 play this, and they're probably just more confident that they can play this better.
And they definitely looked stronger on those aim maps in the Winners Final as well, particularly in the second half. So it's a good fountain for them to drink from here. And there's that lineup from Suntan does write itself. Malashevsky, Zutinator, and Emrek for Team Suntan. Sounds about right to me, with Farum, MCY4, and Rectagon on the side of I'm Korean. Good
so the difference for I'm Korean 2 is they have Rectagon today. Rectagon, one of their premier players, wasn't in the Losers Grand Finals, but he's going to be a big differentiator on a lot of these maps. I think it's the expected roster for Suntan, but this map is just super high spacing, super consistent aim. If you're familiar with Grand Senpai maps, you know what to expect. And I think given the previous scores, Suntan should feel favored on this, but after losing their first pick, they gotta be worried. They gotta play really, really well to make sure the comeback from I'm Korean 2 doesn't happen on this one again.
Yeah, if they can steal a super aim pick like this, it's going to do wonders for the mindset of the players on I'm Korean as well, because of the way they've stolen quite a few different sort of skill sets at the moment early on. And if they take one on aim, that's just another tick box they can check here. But it's going to be a tough one, you think. On paper, this should be a really good for Suntan.
All right, getting into the third pick now. Second pick for Suntan, this No Mod 3. Grand Senpai AIM Gaming for this one. This map is just entirely jumps, pretty much. There's not much else to talk about with this one. And this is a very, very good AIM roster for both of these teams, honestly. There goes Rectigon, does drop a miss. It's matched by Zudinator. So 2 FCs to 2 still intact for both of these teams. But there goes MCY4. So now extra full combo on the side of Suntan, Malashevsky and Emrek. There goes Emrek, though. And it's Malashevsky versus worst HR player. These two tourney players duking it out once again. Another couple of resets coming through, this time for Rectigon and for Zudinator at the same time as well. And there's another break for Emrek and Zudinator and Rectigon. It's MCY4 with a little bit of extra combo now for I'm Korean 2. And this is a very short map, Dooms. We're already 2/3 of the way through this one. It's a very, very short pick. Can they hold on to this lead for Suntan with this extra combo for MCY4? But there goes Forum. Ooh. And I think that may be the pick. Malashevsky does combo a little bit more of the map.
Goodness me, that was really competitive, though. I mean, they can take half from that, but it's just a bit too much. The mechanical side of Suntan is just so strong. But there's a valiant effort on something just so pure in its aim, like something like this. They're just too strong, man. This recovery is really, really good from Suntan. From Emrek and Zuti there, just storming this one.
Yeah, double, almost three-way 500k there for Suntan. Zudinator just below 500k. And the worst, actually, no, above 500k at the end of it. So the worst player on Suntan, still better than both of the supporting scores from I'm Korean 2. Really good overall roster strength on that aim pick there for Suntan. Showing what for on that sort of pick.
And a huge pick to win. I mean, I was going to say, if they were going to lose that one, it was looking pretty dire, being down 0-3, losing 3 different skill sets. But that win is huge for them because this pool has a lot of good aim options left. I mean, you have Hidden 4, which is in the hidden slot, but pretty much just pure hit aim mechanics on the 4 slot as well. And I think their roster on aim especially goes deeper. I think I'm Korean 2 struggling on their third player notably. So they have Hidden 4. They have Hard Rock 1 if they want to go for the aim 1v1, maybe if they want to see if Malashevsky can take down worst HR player on an aim map. But we'll see what they go for after their pick. But it's I'm Korean 2 to respond. And considering how well Hidden 1 went, I mean, it was still close, but that was a decrease of worst HR player's score from yesterday. If he's still feeling confident, I think Free Mod 1's a good option. And they go for it. Yeah, Free Mod 1. This map is in the Free Mod pool, but I would say it's heavily hidden favored in the sense that both mods, this will be a brutal map. However, with Hard Rock, nobody's playing this well. Nobody's getting like over... I mean, a 300k on this with Hard Rock would be unimaginable. So it's definitely going to be a hidden show. And I think we're going to see probably worst HR player again, obviously, but most likely Malashevsky to respond and see if he can do a little bit better on the hidden one and find the breakpoint.
I think so too. I mean, you'd have to be brave to take this Hard Rock. And it says a lot when an AR 6.5 map at this star rating is, you know, hidden favored. Yeah. But it looks like we might be seeing the Hard Rock, Vordy. I see Zuti in the lobby.
I mean, if Zuti beats worst HR player on Hard Rock, I would be gobsmacked just because of how unbelievably difficult this map is Hard Rock, but I'd love to see it. With the hidden as well, so slight mod advantage.
One thing about this being AR 6.5 is it is AR 9.1, I think, after Hard Rock. So there's basically no reading strain on Hard Rock for this. You don't have that super low note density that you might usually get on Hard Rock with this. The challenge, though, is that precision aim. Zuti with a couple of early misses here, finding a little more of them during this stream section, or the burst section, rather, and worst HR player off to a pretty good start. 98 act, no misses on the full combo right now. We'll see if Zudinator can pull a little bit of the score back later on in the pick, but it's going to be dependent on an eventual miss from worst HR player, which on a map this difficult should come through.
Surely, eventually. And I think, I mean, it has to happen soon. There it is, because the end of this map gets really hard, but a small bit of opportunity for Zoo to try and make something happen if Forum gets another break here. Not too far ahead, just a bit of that hack, a bit of that combo.
And mod advantage maybe for Zudinator on the multipliers, but right now it's looking better for worst HR player on the hidden only, still holding combo after that gigantic square jump. The lead isn't huge, it's only about 50k, so still doable, and there's another miss for worst HR player, so Zuri back with combo lead again. The accuracy evened out now, it was an early act lead for worst HR player, but back pretty much even Stevens now as Zuri will drop another miss, so combo lead once more on the side of I'm Korean 2 and worst HR player, and these burst sections giving Zuri, I think, a lot of trouble in comparison to worst HR player. Has hit all of them. Zuri's missed on both so far. So I think a lot of this map is going to come down to that just extra little bit of consistency on these sections outside the PI time. Zuri hits the square that time around, and worst HR player does miss going into this second PI time. If Zuri can hold through this section, it's very doable as a comeback pick, but there goes the combo break. The aim on Hard Rock is just so difficult on this map.
It is, but she's trading blows well here. It's competitive, the hidden versus Hard Rock here. But she needs a little bit more, and it's only going to get harder through this ending. This ending is really nasty on the aim in particular. With 50k, it's a really good spot here for worst Hard Rock player.
Yeah, combos broken again for Zudinator, and I think that's just going to be it. 60k now the lead for worst HR player on the hidden only. Does find some more misses here at the end, but it's not going to matter. Overall win for I'm Korean 2. Worst HR player with 380k, almost 390k. Zudi with that 325k on the hidden Hard Rock. Still a very good hidden Hard Rock score for Zudinator on this map, but not quite enough with nearly 400k for worst HR player there.
I mean, yeah, I did say 300k on Hard Rock would be super impressive, and Zudinator did do it, but unfortunately, worst HR player is still just so consistent on those low AR, hidden aim control maps, and that's now, I'm Korean 2 up 3-1 going into Suntan's next pick. They have a nice cushion for them, but Suntan, they won the aim map. I reckon they just go right into aim again. Hidden 4, I think, is the closest they're going to get to Nomad 3, in the sense that it's a similar player count. The hidden doesn't really matter as much because it's AR 9.9, so I think the players are going to be pretty comfortable reading that with hidden. The difference is the BPM, it's 255 instead of 205, so less spacing, but definitely faster. It's going to make a difference in comfort for some players, but if they don't want to go for that, they have other aim maps like Hard Rock 1. I think Hard Rock 4 is a good option for them at some point here, but I still think picking into the speed is something they should consider. But I mean, after that DT4 ban, I guess they're just not super comfortable on it.
I do think it's risky. I mean, we've already seen that the speed players from I'm Korean are ready to go, but that's where they're going to go. They are going to try their hand at the DT3, which in theory is good for them, but we know I'm Korean are competitive on these picks, but this is a 3v3 higher player count, very stamina intensive map, and Suntan have some of the best stamina players in the game on their books.
Yeah, for sure. On top of this map being a stamina map, it's CS5, AR 9.7. So you have some elements of reading and aim. Because it's CS5 with these long streams, your tapping has to be really, really comfortable on 240 BPM. Otherwise, I do think you'll at some point under-aim or over-aim one of the streams if your tapping isn't flawless. Now, on the side of Suntan, expect to see somebody like Emrek, Malashevsky, Mathy is what I would imagine. But this time, unlike yesterday, I think, I'm Korean 2 have all of their speed players. They have Rectagon, they have Window Life, they have Enri as well. They have, Restia if they're around. So I think they can put up a really good fight on this map.
Yeah, at 240 BPM, the speed side is fine. The stamina side should be fine, but it's on the extreme end of some of the harder patterns in this where it could make a difference, but they should be competitive. You always have been against Suntan.
Oh, and Suntan has Ninarek. I think Ninarek might be the most, if there's anybody who I think will be the most comfortable at high-end stamina, I think it's going to be Ninarek in this lobby.
Yeah, the captain leading from the front here. It's exactly his skill set, and there's plenty more in the pool we could see him shine on as well if it appears. This is absolutely one for him as well. I do wonder how much the aim side of things will come into play on this, though, because you mentioned about how some of the awkward aim patterns in this as well as that stamina. But at 240, I think these players should be able to just tap along fine, and they should be able to keep their aim together, really, as long as they're warm.
All right, let's see it. We've got some really good DT stamina lineups for both of these rosters. Emrek, Nunerek, and Mathy looking to take a second point for Suntan. Enri, Window Life, and Rectagon looking to take a second break point for I'm Korean 2. This, as you've said, CS5 version of Rolling Gothic Mix, Unmeno Dark Side. A little bit tricky on the flow aim here for these players, as this one is not easy on the aim whatsoever. Henry already dropping the miss, so that's one full combo down for I'm Korean 2. Everybody holding for Suntan so far, as no drops come through on that first section. And this map starts off a little bit slow as well. There's a miss on the aim for Neneric. He is going to drop that combo, but Rectagon's already broken as well for I'm Korean 2. So 2 FCs to 1 now, just Window Life still holding for I'm Korean 2.
Emmerich versus Window Life at the moment, looking pretty solid on the head-to-head, but when things start picking up in just a moment, we'll see if Window Life can match him. But at the moment, there's a nice recovery here. Oh, there goes Window Life, though. And Emmerich still going. It's huge for Suntan now. He can go up the gears now.
Yeah, Matthew does trade the miss from Window Life, so it is a trade of full combos, but Rectagon's also missed, and there goes Henry on that big recovery, and it's just Emmerich holding alone right now for Suntan. Nobody else in the lobby with combo above 300 except for Matthew, also on Suntan. And this one is just off to the races for Suntan now. 400,000 score up, and sure to be more by the end of the map. Finally a drop for Emmerich as we get these massive long streams in this section. I said this map started off slow. I was not lying. These streams near the end are just absolutely brutal. Everyone dropping on these patterns. The flow aim on this is non-trivial as well. You can see these circle streams and other patterns really, really tricky for a lot of these players to deal with. You have stop and go streams in this map as well. And there's actually a lot of players hitting this. Emmerich and Neneric make it through that section unscathed. Window Life as well, holding pretty solid on the combo, but the rest of the lobby just not able to keep up. And that's now over 600,000 score lead for Suntan. And once again, this is just an easy win for Suntan on this map with an over 700,000 score for Emmerich by the end of the map, gapping the next best score in the lobby by over 240k coming out from Window Life.
That is so huge. What a score from Emmerich there, and crazy act from Neneric on his skill set. It's a sight to behold, man.
Yeah, I think a map like that, I think Neneric, based on the accuracy, the most comfortable at tapping the BPM, but obviously CS5 with some of the density and some of the aim is by no means easy on a map like that. But yeah, I mean, Emmerich has the combination of both. He has the aim, he has the tapping, and honestly, given that DT3 pick and performance, I'm almost like wondering what were the bans like. Did they DM each other their bans and like, okay, you ban my ban and I ban your ban, because like that's the only way it explains it. But obviously now with that DT3 win, I assume I'm Korean when they go for the next ban probably go for the DT1. If Emmerich's firing on all cylinders with tapping, and you don't have somebody who can compete, maybe they go for that. But it's gonna be their pick first. In the first set, it's gonna be the hidden 2. Obviously, their bread and butter. You're gonna see worst HR player on this. You're gonna see Henry on this. They're both phenomenal hidden tech players. But on the side of Suntan, you have Malashevsky. I would dare say that when it comes to hidden tech, I mean, I think Malashevsky can potentially outperform anyone in the world if he's doing well. You'll have backing him up probably Kriller or Emmerich. So I think this is the kind of picks where I'm like, anything could happen, because you have like the top. If there's a top 5 hidden tech players in the world, you're gonna see like 4 of them here. So really anything can happen.
I'd love to see Kriller in for this, because it does seem like such a Kriller map. But no, it looks like we are gonna be seeing the power duo Malashevsky and Emmerich in for this one, which is fair enough by me. Get followed up by worst hard rock player and Henry on the side of I'm Korean, so they're gonna be running with their usual lineup for this one.
Yeah, I think whenever it comes to just really high skill cap, Emmerich is going to be, always comfortable. I can imagine Emmerich or Kriller being in for this one. Emmerich actually stepping out, maybe somebody else to come in, but obviously on the side, it's going to be Henry worst HR player and Flying Tuna. Actually, also phenomenal tech player. I think there was a point in the game where like Flying Tuna was the worst HR player before worst HR player. So I think Flying Tuna are going to be more than comfortable on this map. And yeah, I'm excited to see this. I can definitely imagine one of these players having some ridiculous combo and winning it. But the question is, who is going to be on which team is going to happen?
Man, Flying Tuna in for this one, coming in with the steel chair. But I'm not against it, man. I'm not against it. On something this crazy and techie on hidden, he should be okay.
Yeah, let's get into this one. Nelv by Silent Room, mapped by Yugia. This map's hard. There's obviously it's an 8-star tech map at 175 BPM. You know what kind of messed up patterns you have to put at 175 BPM for the map to hit 8 stars? Like, this map is just absolutely nuts. On top of that, there's some sliderator patterns in this as well, with variable slider velocity in the same slider. So if the players, I'm sure they're all practiced on this, but the first couple of passes on this are really, really rough, I think, for just about everyone. And you're already seeing multiple combo breaks early out here for both Henry and Malashevsky now. There goes Flying Tuna, the second miss coming through for Suntan, and his worst HR player, the only FC left in the lobby. This is what you expect from this player. This is why you are picking the hidden tech map as I'm Korean 2, because you expect for him to carry it, because you expect him to outperform everyone else in the lobby. And he's delivering right now. Sliderator or not, he's still going strong. And that miss from Flying Tuna was actually a Bancho miss. He's still got the combo right now, so this is 1v1 on the FC. Flying Tuna, you called him worst HR player before he existed. We used to call these kinds of picks Flying Tuna maps, not worst HR player maps. These were not forum picks. These were Tuna picks, but he does find the combo breaks here now. And the score lead's still with Suntan because of better recovery from Malashevsky, the second player making the difference right now for Suntan. And there goes the FC for worst HR player. And now it is going really well for Suntan. Combos completely reset across the board going into the second half of this map. And Dooms, this is an upset pick if I've ever seen one. Worst HR player not able to significantly outperform Flying Tuna. Very similar scores for those two players. And the second player difference mattering so much. Malashevsky at 230k.
Flying Tuna stepping in, seeing worst Herbert player and saying, I can match that. I've been around the block more than you have, buddy, and that was an insane play from the veteran. I mean, the top score is going to Forum, but it's not going to be enough with this tag team right now. A huge chain miss for Malashevsky, though. Tons of score just got dropped there, Dio.
There goes worst HR player. The combo is gone for him, but Henry has actually picked it back up as well. And the score lead is in favor of I'm Korean 2, just barely. And I think this combined combo from Malashevsky and Flying Tuna is not going to be enough to turn it around at the end. This extra combo for Henry at the end of the map is going to be enough to keep it on the side of I'm Korean 2. 23k, but they win it out by the end. 460k for worst HR player. Again, that's why you put him in, because he did outperform every other player in this lobby. It was almost enough with the combined efforts of Flying Tuna and Malashevsky, but that extra combo at the end of the map from Henry was huge.
Yeah, I think there was a chance there. I think if Malashevsky and Flying Tuna both hit that spaced slider stream, potentially would have made enough. I think they lost a decent amount of score from the chain miss. But yeah, an extremely close pick, you know. I'm Korean 2 winning by 20k on presumably one of their best picks. I'd expect to see stuff like this happen for a good amount of this match, just because both of these teams are just that good. They'll have players for everything. But we're going into the second set of bans. Now, the DT4 ban still tripped me up earlier. I'm still have a conspiracy theory in my head that they just swap bans. Expect to see a DT1 ban here from I'm Korean 2 if they don't want to play into that tapping. Unless somebody like Window Life is just really feeling good on 300 BPM. Otherwise, it's going to be hidden 4. Okay, that's also fair. The aim map, so far, they did lose that map on Nomad 3. So they're not as comfortable on the aim. And that was a decent margin of loss as well. So banning the hidden 4 is completely fair.
Yeah, good ban, good ban. The high player count aim maps are really good ones for Suntan. I mean, the lower player count ones they can probably work through. Those higher player count ones are going to be tricky for I'm Korean. But Suntan, with the next ban, plenty of gimmick to be getting rid of. But where do they go with gimmick,
especially in the free mod pool. I'm looking at stuff like free mod 2, free mod 4. Those maps are also in the same vein as Techie, but you know, they almost won the hidden 2, so might leave that open. But otherwise, I don't think you're left with too much. You also have hidden 3. Hidden 3 is a very awkward hidden aim map, similar BPM to hidden 4, but a completely, you know, different shift with how uncomfortable a lot of the patterns and finger controls are. I think somebody like worst HR player would feel super comfortable on a map like that, while most people probably wouldn't. But they are thinking, so I don't think their ban is as crystal clear as it was earlier.
I think hidden 3 might be okay for Suntan with the aim side of that coming in, even though it is very much more about the control side. does have plenty of aim to it too, but there's plenty of stuff in the free mod I think they could be looking to target here with this ban. I'd be a little bit surprised to see like a no mod 2 ban. I think that would be a very esoteric one, but another control heavy one that could come into it. Sort of cut streamy, techy streams of sorts on that Akali map. But if I was in their shoes, yeah.
Especially considering how crazy Henry went on the no mod 2 yesterday. But I do anticipate it's either going to be a no mod 2 or free mod 2, free mod 4. But they're thinking, I don't think it's an easy ban regardless. I think, especially after the Hidden 2, all of those maps could potentially go their way. I still think you ban one of them because it's in I'm Korean 2's favor, but you don't necessarily feel too bad on them yourself with some of the players you have. And it's going to be the Hidden 3. Yeah,
okay,
so I think this is a still on paper an aim map, but it's the most uncomfortable, just really jarring wide angle pattern, some linear patterns, some finger control as well. It's not super low AR, it's 9.6, but still with 260 BPM jumps, that's pretty dense. And I still, expected maybe somebody like Zudinator, Malashevsky, Emmerich, maybe Nahus could be pretty comfortable on that, but I do think they're fearing some of their the players on the other team, notably worst stage sharp player Henry or something like that.
Yeah, I don't blame him for not wanting to give a Hollow Wings map to a control-based team. I mean, fair enough. But I agree that I think that one could have been quite competitive, but clearly they had other ideas, and I think it's a decent ban. It's a decent ban for sure. They got the next pick in tow, so are they going to keep digging into some more of that speed? Now it's looking like they have the edge at this extreme end. Yes, it is, Vordu.
Yes. Oh, I'm excited to see this be played. Obviously, this is a legendary map if there ever was one. Ascension to Heaven DT. Really, there's only been one player ever who's been supremely comfortable on this, and that was Eterna. We've seen some other top player, speed players play this map really well, in the recent years. Notably, Sitho, I think, might be the only other DTFC on this map. You also have players like, Xylus as well. But, I mean, you have some amazing speed players on the side of both of these teams. I think Emmerich is going to be the player for Suntan. Or Ninarek actually as well. It was Emmerich to be more comfortable on the DT3, but that had aim elements. In terms of accuracy, it was Ninarek that outperformed the entire lobby. And I mean, 300 BPM is just such a wild speed to be comfortable on. I think most top players, you tell them to play 270, it's going to be tough, but 300 it's entirely from these. I'm going to see first stage sharp player in this.
What?
Surely not. Surely that's not real.
There's no way.
There is no way that worst Hard Rock player is playing the 300 BPM stamina map, right?
Is that real?
God, well, is that a double tap? I see.
He is full double tapping
it.
Is this real? Is he just gonna double tap this? I'm speechless. If this is actually the play, that worst HR player goes in and double taps the map, and that's how they plan to win this pick, I'm actually speechless. Ninarek is playing it properly. He's got 90% DAC. Worst HR player is on 75% with the double tap mechanics. And that's 300 combo for Ninarek, who is, I believe, already outperforming Akalibed's score from yesterday. Akalibed's winning score on this yesterday was 130k for the side of chipi chapa, as neither he nor Henry looked really comfortable on the map whatsoever. But Ninarek now looking pretty solid on this map, already better combo than what Akalibed had yesterday, but misses on the aim right before this section, and the double tap for worst HR player is going to net him a miss as well. And I think that's just the map over. Ninarek being able to play this properly, and this massive accuracy difference is going to be giving them the win on this one. And yeah, you're going to fall behind eventually as Ninarek, but is it going to be enough for worst HR player to bring this back? He's still dropping score. It's 165k now, but he's still out ahead 20k, and that's going to be the win. I cannot believe the double tap tech from the ceiling lights. Worst HR player dropping from the roof for that one. It's almost going to land it, but falls into the ring instead, and not quite able to land the ending there.
This is actually this is proof. Worst HR player is a better speed player than Akali bet. He outperformed 27 to heaven. I mean, this is just factual.
No
You can put that in the record books. Unbelievable. Unreal close pick considering the players.
I cannot believe how close that was.
I cannot believe how close that was. Unironically,
that was amazing. But I suppose the speed player won the speed pick, so all is normal with the world. That was rather close.
That was. I genuinely think if worst HR player was able to string a little bit better of a combo through some of the slider sections, that could have gone the other way. I initially thought that was almost a like them maybe giving up the pick, but clearly worst HR player had other plans. Unreal close for how that one is, but I still can't believe how difficult that map truly is. I think players at this caliber putting sub 200k scores in retrospect shows how insane a turn as FC on this was.
Yeah, Miles and I may have set off the smoke alarm when cooking this one up. I'm not gonna lie. It may have set some alarms off in the hallway. There might have been a smoke going up in the kitchen, but all for the fun on stream.
Oh yeah,
I mean it definitely is. I think an outlier hype map in the pool, but we got flashes. No mod 2. I think this is a map I was aware of before it was pulled here. On insanely difficult aim control map, banger song as well. We saw Enri pop off on this yesterday, getting a ridiculous 700 combo. This map is so difficult to be consistent on. Likely see worst HR player and Enri again. Worst HR player not as, I think he bottom scored the lobby on this one yesterday. So if worst HR player is feeling a bit more up to it on this map, we could maybe see I'm Korean 2's score improve. On the other side, considering how Flying Tuna did on the Hidden 2, I expect to see maybe him on this map as well. Probably joined by Malashevsky again, but yeah, I mean, the closest thing you're going to get to this in this pool is Hidden 2, and see how this goes. Amrak actually going to be in for this one.
I mean, if all else fails, you just put Emrek in, and you're probably going to be doing okay. Worst hard rock player in Enri, 4 team I'm Korean, and I think with this style, I do think there's a lot of room for worst hard rock player to improve his score, I suppose. The flow aim control style all the way through this one seems very suited for it.
I mean, the number 1 and number 2 players on this map are Emrek and worst HR player in that order. You have Rectagon and Malashevsky also with very good scores on this map on the leaderboard. Enri is not on the leaderboard, I don't think, for this, but put up good scores yesterday when they were playing this. Early miss for worst HR player, actually, in the intro. Malashevsky also going to drop here on this cut section with the... I don't know how to describe that pattern. Cut stream section. Well, Emrek now actually dropping as well. It's just Enri holding on. The player not on the leaderboard, holding strong right now for I'm Korean 2, and the aim control for Enri has always been a strong point, but just showing it off once again. Over 400 combo now after the first half of the map is over, and that whole section he was able to hold through. There is 200 combo on Malashevsky, but Suntan at this point just have to pray for a miss to come out for I'm Korean 2 if they want to take this break point, and Enri looking so comfortable on this. This combo is just obscene. Finally does drop at the start of this section. Worst HR player is there, though. Emrek is going to drop, and this is already over. I'm Korean 2 going to be taking the point. The question is by how much?
Yeah, man. Forum now on these cut streams, on such odd rhythms, on the offbeats, constantly changing, but huge combo there through a lot of that from worst hard rock player. That's insane stuff. That's going to wrap this one up in a nice little bow. Oh, crazy stuff from these two. Enri's combo was insane. One of the top on the map. Easily.
Yeah, I mean, over 500 combo puts you, at the very least, into the top 6. It is better than Malashevsky's best combo on the map. It is comparable to Rectagon's no-mod play. Actually had higher combo than Rectagon's no-mod pass on this. And that is just obscene. That's a potentially top 5 score if score v1 on the map from Enri. Just absolutely ridiculous play.
I mean, it's one of the hardest things in the game to be consistent on is those kinds of maps. And Enri back to back, both times he played it, getting over 500 combo. I mean, yesterday when he got 700 combo, I was like, surely that's a fluke. Doesn't, get up to it as high, but still top performer in the lobby. This time, worst HR player backing him up a bit better, making up the difference. from Enri's 500-700 combo. But yeah, that just shows how good they are. I mean, the other side they're facing is Malashevsky Emrek, and they still find a way to differentiate themselves on picks like that. You couldn't ask for harder competition, other than maybe a duplication of yourself, but can't do that here. But we have Suntan picking their next map. So far, this match has been just trading their own wins, other than that breakpoint to start it off. At some point, Suntan is really, really going to need to find a breakpoint on I'm Korean's picks, but for now, they just got to keep winning. Obviously, winning the DT1 with a narrow lead from Ninarek. They don't have any real heavy speed maps to go for. The closest is Hard Rock 4, but it's 220, sort of a mixed skill set map with some speed in it. So if they want to go for the tapping side, they have that, and I do think it's a good option for them. Also has some aim consistency in it, and I think that favors them. They go for Fremont too. So they decide to go for the, techie. I mean, this is similar to Hidden 2 on paper. Fremont as well, though, so you need a Hard Rock, need a Hidden. Maybe they think they have a Hard Rock advantage here. But this is a very long map, over 5 minutes. I believe this was tiebreaker for 4WC. Very mixed skill set map, but I think leans into that tech.
Yeah, it's definitely on the techier side of things. It's essentially a TB, but pickable. It's nearly as long as your usual TB, almost as long as the map we have in TB for this round. So a bit of everything here, but it's definitely got that tech edge. Mech tech is the word used for it, and I think that's apt for this one.
For sure. And it's interesting to go for this one after losing a player count 2 slot, when I anticipate Henry and worst HR player to be in this map as well. So, they could have maybe tried to go for something where you wouldn't see necessarily those 2 players again, because they've been playing pretty well, winning the Hidden 2, winning the Nomad 2 as well. But, if they feel confident, if they have a Hard Rock player who's really good on this, we might actually even see Rectagon on the side of I'm Korean 2 potentially on the Hard Rock instead. But I'm interested to see how the mods go.
I feel like it'd be a good shout to get Recti on this, just because of that Hard Rock comfort on something like this that changes styles a lot and feels a lot of the way through. I feel like you need his comfort on that Hard Rock if you're going to be taking that, because Suntan is going to have someone equally as comfortable on the mechanic side. I guess with the hidden side, though, you've got plenty of choice. I'd love to see Krilla come in for Suntan, but I feel like it might not be a Krilla angle. It'd be cool to see him pop in for this one. Wouldn't be surprised to see an Emrek Malashevsky duo again for something like this in particular. What do you think, Vordy?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. And I think it's a situation where both of those players could run the Hidden or the Hard Rock. So yeah, I mean, it depends on who's feeling better on what. I think generally speaking, you want your more comfortable player probably on the quote-unquote easier mod, which I think would likely be Hidden, just because it's AR 9.8 CS4. So I think the Hidden players are going to be advantaged for sure. It's not going to make a huge difficulty difference, but the Hard Rock definitely will. I think Bancho is having a few issues, so we'll have to hold on. I believe they might be already into the map, but we'll hold tight. I mean, it's a 5-minute map, so we have plenty of time to get the tech problem sorted before we miss it.
Yeah, plenty of time to get going. I wonder if the map started, actually, if people could confirm who's playing, I suppose. But if they're not, then I guess they got time.
It looks like it is Emrek Malashevsky versus Rectagon and Enri in this map. So I would expect it to be Emrek Hard Rock, Malashevsky Hidden versus Rectagon Hard Rock and Enri Hidden on this map. So worst HR player actually subbed out for this one in favor of Enri and Rectagon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both Enri and worst HR player would be phenomenal on the Hidden on this, and Enri did outperform on the Nomad too. So if it's he's on a bit of a hot streak, I can definitely imagine that. Rectagon and Hard Rock, I think, makes sense. You did mention it. I think just the most comfortable Hard Rock player on the side of I'm Korean 2. I mean, one of the best. You want a Hard Rock free mod player who can play any kind of free mod. It's you want to get Rectagon.
Yeah, it's got that all-rounder skill set for like an all-rounder map like this. Really, it's ideal. I think it's going to be a good shot. I think it'd be fairly even, honestly, with those two, because Enri and Recti have both popped off and stuff like this before in tournaments. So I'm confident they can match even like Emrek Malashevsky and something like this. I think just sticking those two in is just a safe bet for Suntan, just because of that skill ceiling. Just they're gonna have a base level of performance that you just know is going to be pretty good against whoever I'm Korean can put out, really. I think still hanging on at the moment, though. If we get some update on the score, we'll let you know. But it should be on paper quite close, that between those two.
I think the streamers are loading up the band show now, so hopefully very, very shortly we should see the map being played. I mean, if there was any map to have tech problems on, I guess it's this one on paper because the longest one. But apparently there's an issue where there's no players on screen. Huh.
Building up tension. Staring at the NP right now.
I'd be so bummed out to have a tab back with like 30 seconds left and somebody's like FCing on a mod. But we're getting into it. There we go.
Oh, let's go.
All right. So combos not intact for anyone. We have score lead though for Suntan. Malashevsky and Emrek both above 200k. Enri at 250k is matching Emrek. And it's actually Malashevsky on the Hard Rock, Emrek on Hidden versus Enri on the Hidden. And as expected, Rectigon on the Hard Rock. But Rectigon on Hard Rock being at 130k should tell you exactly how hard this map is. We do still have about a quarter of the map left to go, but Malashevsky is ahead of Rectigon by a full 100,000 points, and that's where that entire score lead is coming from. The score between Enri and Emrek is very close, a little bit Enri favored on the Hidden right now, and a couple more breaks to come through for Malashevsky on the Hard Rock, but it is still... It's still close. It's still in favor of Suntan by about 100k here. And this extra combo for Enri is going to start to bring it back slowly but surely as we get yet another client restart. We love tech issues here. And there we go. Everything again. And there's actually a break for Enri. Big combo gone now. It's just Emrek to hold. And there's... I don't think anything they can do, Dooms. They're down by about 120,000 score, and that doesn't seem like much, but when your total score is 500k, that's quite a bit. And this ending of the map still going to give them a bit of a challenge here as Emrek pulling through with the 360k on Hidden, and Malashevsky beating Rectigon on Hard Rock by over 100,000 score. That is not something I had on the bingo card.
No, that's not something you see every day. Absolutely outshining him today on that Hard Rock. Normally you see him on that Hidden, but Malashevsky is a man of many talents. And that's just a really good team score for this. You stick your two high skill cap players in, and you just watch them go to work. Really good stuff here from Suntan, and, well, they're really starting to find some footing in this game now. It's getting real close.
I mean, yeah, with a player like Malashevsky, I think people often know him for his Hidden. But when it comes to Hard Rock, especially on Hard Rock Tech, I feel like I've said this before. Hard Rock Tech is its own particular niche of tech. I think it's probably the variant of tech Rectigon is the least comfortable in relative to his other variants of Hard Rock. And it's the one where Malashevsky shines through. And I assume they picked that map with the expectation that they wouldn't have somebody who could match Malashevsky on the Hard Rock. Enri, I think almost matching Emrek on the Hidden, just narrowly lost by 30k on that matchup, but it's going to be that Hard Rock difference. And you're going to feel pretty good because honestly, that was a map I almost expected I'm Korean 2 to pick, so it's good that they win that. It also means that the free mod 4, although it's obviously 4-player count instead of 2, but free mod 4 has some similarities to that free mod 2, so maybe gives them that as an option. But still 5-2, I think it's 4-5 or 5-5 now? I think it's 5-5, and I'm Korean 2 to pick next. But yeah, if I'm Korean 2 just keeps winning their next 2 picks, they're still going to win just because of that breakpoint on DT2. Suntan needs to find it somewhere. As the pool narrows down, though, picks get hard, and I don't know. What are you thinking, Dooms?
Yeah, as it narrows down, it's going to get, I think, tougher for I'm Korean to find those good picks. It's 5-4 at the moment. So they are still in a good spot, I'm Korean. Free mod 4 is the play from I'm Korean 2, which on paper is pretty good, but after that free mod 2, tells me it's still very contested, you know. It's a contested one.
Yeah, I think anything would be contested on a matchup like this, but I guess the difference is with this map, it's a bit of a more gimmickier variant of tech. I would still put this in the tech category, but it's more Hard Rock favored, I would say. If free mod 2 is Hidden favored, with that AR 9.8 CS4, this is 4.2 on circle size and AR 9.2. So it's going to be harder for both mods, but that 9.2 on 210 BPM with hidden makes this super dense. Because this is a player count 4 as well, you can't just rely on the star players of these teams who've been seeing a lot of, Emrek, Malashevsky, Enri, worst HR player. You need to have a good 4. And I think for the side of I'm Korean 2, they have to, I assume they have 4 players ready. I maybe expect to see Boshiman come in on something like this, but I'm curious to see what they go for.
It's actually the first 4v4 we're seeing all match. It's quite funny that this is the 10th map, and I'm only just seeing the max player count side of things. And I think so far we have seen some really strong performances on side of I'm Korean from their star players. Enri's had a great game, Forum's had a great game, and they've had some good runs here and there. But now with a 4v4, we've seen quite a spread of players from Suntan. But I do agree with you on the point about the low AR. Unless people start going crazy with hard rock, which I think is ill-advised on this sort of difficulty. The density is going to be a part of it, and well, we haven't seen Boshiman yet. I hope he's around, because he'd be a safe pair of hands. Another really strong addition, actually. That would flip things a bit if he is around.
We are having some technical difficulties once again. They are in the map. The overlay has now broken. So the clients are showing up, but the scores and accuracy and combo and all that is not showing up with the overlay down.
Right.
So in the meantime, we are doing a giveaway here. If you type !drop in chat, you have a chance at winning either a Drunk Deer G65 keyboard or a Wacom Intuos tablet. So if you're in the market for one of those, go ahead and type !drop in chat, and you get a chance to win one of those.
Hell yeah. It's time for me to switch, finally. It's a moment.
Finally switch to tablet.
Again
for like the 3rd time.
Yeah, I mean, you're still early into your OSA career, so any time.
That's true.
Yeah. No time like the present, Morty. Hell yeah. Okay, shout out to Wacom and Drunk Deer for hooking us up there.
Oh, I mean, goated sponsors.
Oh.
So yeah, it looks like Gosu Memory crashed. So we're gonna get Gosu Memory back up, restart that, and then refresh the clients on screen, and hopefully that'll be enough to get the map going. This is luckily also a long map. This map is 3 minutes and 34 seconds, so not quite as long as the free mod 2, but also a pretty long pick. So hopefully we'll still be able to see some of this pick as well. We are about halfway into the map now, about 2 minutes in. So hopefully we can get some of that shown before the map is over. And hopefully this is the end of the tech issues for the rest of Grand Finals, including potentially bracket reset.
With it being so close now in this first match, this Grand Finals, man, I feel like if I'm Korean drop another gimmicky pick like this, it's going to be real tough when we go into last pick, because Suntan, they still have maps like Hard Rock 1, things like that, which I think is still a really good shout for them. The 1v1 on the high-end Hard Rock aim for that last pick. So I feel it's like a big point here for I'm Korean to try and make something happen here, although they're going to have to really dig deep for the remaining maps. We'll soon see, though, because I don't think there's going to be too much more of this map until we can see what the result is.
Yeah, I imagine there's like 30 seconds or a minute left. I think for the players, we have Emrek, Tuna, Zudi, MCY4, worst HR player, Rectagon, and then 2 players probably staying in the lobby. Probably Malashevsky and Enri. So I think players you would expect. Don't know what the mods are, but yeah, I imagine this pick is going to end soon.
Yeah, unfortunate technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get those fixed very shortly, because I think the map is just about over at this point. And scores should be coming through on the MP link shortly. This was a big lobby as well. You had worst HR player Zudinator, Flying Tuna, and Emrek for the side of Suntan. You had MCY4, Rectagon, Enri, and who is their
Worst HR player, right?
Worst HR player? Yeah, is the 4th for them. So big lobby for this 4v4. Hopefully scores come through soon. I think they should be just about done with the map.
Breakpoint.
And there it is. By 30K for Suntan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that's a spicy one now. That's a break point. Suntan are 5-5 now after that 3-mod-4. Really close though, but that's all they need. Top scoring MCY4, who hasn't played too many maps in this matchup. Top scoring for I'm Korean though on the no mod. He actually got 1.1k combo MCY4 slider break on that, by the way. That's kind of crazy.
It's unfortunate we got to miss that, but I think once again the biggest difference, maybe them sensing a weakness. Oh, actually, it was I'm Korean 2's pick, but it was that Hard Rock difference. Malashevsky getting 473k on the Hard Rock, Rectagon getting 296k. You did have MCY4 top scoring the lobby, but I think the Hard Rock difference outweighed the no mod difference from MCY4. And that's going to be the much needed breakpoint for Suntan to even out this match. We're 5-5 now going into Suntan's next pick. The breakpoint has been resolved. So it's anybody's game now. 2 picks left to go. If both teams win their point, it's going to be a tiebreak, which I'd love to see. But Suntan, can they keep their momentum going? They've won the last 2 picks, so they're on a bit of a hot streak.
So Suntan then, do they dip into that aim, or are they going to keep mixing it up? They have been mixing it up quite a lot with their picks. I guess going with whatever their players want to play, however comfortable they're feeling. But you can't help but think that Hard Rock 1v1 is going to be so strong, and that's where they're going, Vordy. It's shipwrecked.
Really smart pick here, I think. Malashevsky has been performing really, really well on the Hard Rock. Also top scored the aim map when No Mod 3 was picked. So I think Malashevsky right now on Hard Rock aim is its own beast. We're going to see potentially Enri. It was worst HR player who played this last time, but he saw Emrek instead though. I mean, obviously Emrek as well, potentially the best aim player in the game. But, with Malashevsky, how he's been playing on the Hard Rock, that's what I expected to see. But, I mean, you could even have Zudine play this. You have so many good Hard Rock aim players on the side of Suntan.
Yeah, so whoever's feeling the aim more, and now they've played quite a few maps, and a lot of the players have had a chance to dip in the lobby, get that going. I guess Emrek must just be feeling the best on this sort of thing. Fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't begrudge him a shot on 8.7 star Hard Rock aim. Against worst Hard Rock player, it looks like, unless it's going to be like a last minute swap. I think Rectagon would be a good shout for this. The worst Hard Rock player has done really well on the aim stuff so far that he's been in for. So I think it's a decent shout on the way this match has been going.
And I think probably Rectagon still waking up, has not been playing, I think, quite to what we expect of him usually in most tournament matches. A lot of regional tournament matches in North America. He's typically the victor, even up against players like Zudinator. He's usually the player to come out on top there. So for him to be dropping the scores he's been dropping so far, I think is an underperformance for him. So probably just putting in the player who's performing well right now and still comfortable on the map as worst HR player for this team. Early miss for worst HR player, speaking of, but accuracy advantage giving him the score lead at the moment over Emrek, still on the full combo right now. This is quite a long pick as well. This is over 3 minutes of this 8.7 star aim consistency. A little bit awkward on some of these, but you get these big jumps into the space decel streams. It's so difficult, but both of these players actually holding no worst HR player to drop at the start of that section. And it's just Emrek now with the FC still intact. Accuracy be damned. Even with almost 99 now for worst HR player, Emrek still holding on to this FC is going to be enough to put Suntan in the lead on this one.
How far can Emrek take this one now, though? That's the question. That's as far as he goes. No FC, and the score about 40k. Not too much. A little bit of a window here for Farum to try and make something happen.
How far can he take it? Apparently not very far is the answer with the full combo at least, but not down that much overall in the combo as worst HR player did break right before that, as you said. So still the score lead intact for Suntan, but slowly going in the favor of I'm Korean 2 with combo lead, accuracy lead going for worst HR player right now. About 40k the score lead right now for Suntan. Another one of these big jump sections. Worst HR player will miss at the end of the stream, and it's Emrek to hold through the entire section. Hits the ending there as well. Into the next Ki time we go, and Emrek looking very, very good on this Hard Rock 1v1 super high star rating aim. He does find a slider break, so again, combo lead back to Worst HR player, and it seems like at the stream sections, giving Worst HR player a little bit more trouble than the jumps in particular, but does miss on one as I say that, and now combo lead back to Emrek. The score lead now up to about 75k, so growing from that 40k we saw earlier, and Emrek able to extend this lead out once again with a little more combo lead.
The aim consistency is clearly on the side of Emrek, and I mean, he hit both of those really hard jump spikes. Broke afterwards though, so he wasn't able to get too far, but you gotta say he has looked far more comfortable so far. 100k, and that might just be all she wrote as we get into the final chorus now.
I mean, Dooms, this is a literal one miss for Emrek right now.
Yeah.
He's got one miss through the entire map to Forum's 10 miss. Forum is going to drop the combo once again. Emrek is one missing a 8.75 star Hard Rock aim pick here. I mean, DT is one thing because the star rating does get inflated a little bit with the higher BPM, but on Hard Rock, with the higher circle size at CS 5.5, one miss up to that section where he's now dropped a couple more is absolutely obscene. The combo for Worst HR player is going to drop as well, but that play is just absurd. Emrek with nearly 500k. Worst HR player with nearly 400k. Also a very, very good score, but one miss until the very last section of the map for Emrek is just actually incredible. What a score from the world's #1 player.
Yeah, that's what he can do. That's just crazy. But honestly, two very good scores, as you said, Dio. I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, an insane play by Emrek. I think now my, expecting Malashevsky to play that, I don't think anybody's beating that Emrek score, especially in a map like that. I don't think it has any Hard Rock FCs on the leaderboard. It does not. I mean, just no mod or hidden. That is hard enough. But Emrek showing his, aim mechanics are unrivaled. And with that, Suntan is 6-5 on match point going into the last pick of the match, which is going to be I'm Korean's last pick. Now, this entire time, I'm Korean 2 was ahead, but ever since that break point, Suntan on a hot streak of 3 wins. If I'm Korean 2 loses this last pick, it's going to go 7-5, but they have their chance here to go to tiebreaker. But with so many of the maps exhausted, there isn't many good options left. But the Hard Rock 2, I forgot this map existed, but this is a great pick for them. This is aim control alt Hard Rock. 145 BPM. You could also imagine it as low spacing, 290 BPM jumps. I think this is something Worst HR player and Enri are going to put an absolute clinic on. I do favor them on this. I think Malashevsky, Emrek probably still going to have a pretty good time on this one, but with how we've been seeing Enri and Worst HR player on maps like this, I think they'll have a great chance with this one too. And I hope they do, because I kind of want to see tiebreaker.
Oh, we all do. We haven't seen too much pure Hard Rock, I suppose. And when it has appeared, though, the Hard Rock side of things looks really good on the side of Suntan. But this sort of control, as you mentioned, has looked really good for I'm Korean 2. We're seeing MCY4 in the lobby here for I'm Korean 2. He was doing well earlier. He popped off on the free mod 4. Yeah. He must be feeling good now. Did pop off on the free mod 4, maybe having a good day. I think Henry saying, maybe not as comfortable on this one as I imagined, but you still have Worst HR player. I think Worst HR player, when it comes to this type of Hard Rock, which is more alt focused, more aim control, I think he's going to be really, really good on this one. We do see Zudinator in the lobby right now, obviously an exceptional Hard Rock player. I imagine we see Malashevsky on something like this, but obviously with the stacked players, a lot of players could sub in for maps like this. But it's going to be Malashevsky, Emrek. I think the roster I expected, but MCY4 on this, if MCY4 can do something like what he did on free mod 4 again, I think it's exactly what I'm Korean 2 is going to need. Yeah, well, I'm Korean and they have to dig really deep now, because match point for Suntan, it's tournament point for Suntan. Coming from the winners bracket side, if they win this, they are the champions. They are taking the crown. And it's Emrek and Malashevsky, so the two most feared tournament players in the world, going to be trying to gatekeep this one away from I'm Korean 2. But let's see. Will we see that TV? Because it'd be really good for I'm Korean if they can get there, you'd think. Let's see.
Let's see it. This custom map by Kuroise A ridiculous aim control challenge for the Grand Finals in Hard Rock. This was originally going to be a no-mod pick, and the pool got harder than we expected, and this map was not hard enough, so we threw it in Hard Rock, and now it's definitely hard enough. This is a really, really tricky map, and with the added aim control on CS 5.85, this is very, very difficult. MCY4, worst HR player, two extremely good aim control players against the power duo for Suntan with Emrek and Malashevsky. Early miss for worst HR player, actually. I think on one of those buzz sliders does drop the combo there a couple of times. So good start for Suntan now, as I'm Korean 2 with a little bit of missing combo from that star player. Does find another drop here in the Ki time. It is matched by Emrek though. So 1-1 on the full combos, but there goes MCY4, and now it's just Malashevsky. He drops as well. The earlier score lead from the miss on the buzz sliders from worst HR player is giving the advantage to Suntan. More drops coming through for both worst HR player and Malashevsky. It is Emrek and MCY4 to hold on to a little bit of combo here at the end, but there goes MCY4 on the giant space burst there, and it's just Emrek now, the only combo in the lobby. And Suntan out ahead by about 30k. Not a huge score lead at all. This is still winnable for either team, but looking good so far in this map.
So far, so good here for Suntan. Emrek does get the break there, though, so the lead is cut short by 40k. It's combo again with worst hard rock player. A lot of trades happening here. Still very much in it, though, I'm Korean 2.
Yeah, good combo on MCY4 as well, matching one of the combos coming out from Suntan, but it's really worst HR player who needs to clutch up right now. They are still behind in score by less than 10k though now, and worst HR player is trying to make it happen, but doesn't quite find that extra combo. It's MCY4 and Emrek still holding. Malashevsky traded it out with worst HR player, and this is on a knife's edge doomsday. Less than 3,000 score between these two teams as we head into the last Ki time, the last quarter of the map, to potentially decide the entire tournament. A bit of a slow section here before we get into it proper, but this is just, you have to imagine, really, really stressful for both these teams. And finally the score swaps over to I'm Korean 2. Whether it's accuracy or a combo, they're still a little ahead for I'm Korean 2 on both of their players. So ever so slight score lead in their favor, but this is anyone's map going into the ending here. It's all going to depend on how long Emrek and MCY4 can hold. And there goes MCY4. There goes Emrek right afterwards. Malashevsky also dropped, and it's just worst HR player. Forum, the only one to hold at the end. The best aim control player in South Korea, but he breaks. He drops the chain miss. MCY4 is dropping as well, and it's Malashevsky and Emrek with slightly more consistent combo at the end, and that knife's edge has finally dropped on the cutting board in favor of Suntan. They're now ahead by 50k, 60k, and that is the tournament. Emrek and Malashevsky with the consistency at the end of the map, not breaking those combos. They will win the pick. They will win the match. They will win Grand Finals and become the champions of SSOT.
At the end of the day, Malashevsky and Emrek, you can never doubt them. You can never count them out. And Suntan, for a while in this matchup, they were behind, but in the second half of this game, they have just been a steamroller. They have just ran over I'm Korean 2 here. What a win. In the end, though, 5-7. Great fight from both teams, but Suntan are your champions. Nineric, the captain, takes a big win. He was nervous coming into this, but he is the victor here. He is the champion.
Yeah, an absolute phenomenal match. I mean, just being here, watching that Hard Rock team, my heart was racing. And yeah, I mean, I'm Korean 2 putting up a fantastic performance at any point. Like, so many of these maps could have gone either way. I mean, look at some of these margins: 3% on Hidden 2, 7% on that Hard Rock 2, 2% on Fremont 4. Most of these maps were just decided by just one player maybe playing above expectations and under, but a phenomenal match. Suntan not dropping a single match the entire tournament and winning SSOT. But yeah, props to both of these teams.
Good spread of map wins as well. I'm Korean 2 with their gimmick roster, but Suntan matched them and then some. I guess at this difficulty level, that's what it comes down to, how you execute on the day. There's not too much in it when you look at, one team's good at gimmick, one team's good at speed. Sometimes you just need to be playing better on the day. I guess that's how it's gone. It looks like we're going to be getting a tiebreaker showcase on this TB, which I think we all want, because this TB is just fantastic.
I do want to see the question, you know, if this map was played, obviously there's not the same level of stakes that we normally see. Tournament is over, but I want to see Korean 2 on this. If this match did go to tiebreaker, would Suntan win it? Would Korean 2 win it? Absolute banger of a map. I think very flowing focused, which I think both of these teams have exceptional flowing players, so they'll be fine on that. But yeah, I'm glad to see this being played by a caliber of skill that you really cannot ask more for. You got pretty much all of the best tournament players in the world here on this tiebreaker.
And before we get into it, I do want to give a quick shout out here to the one mapper whose custom for Grand Finals was not played. Always feels bad. So shout out to Errol, who did the custom Nomad one. It was unfortunately not played this weekend. So shout outs to Errol for doing that Nomad one. Go check that map out if you haven't. It is an absolute banger, and it actually has a full set as well. So even if you are a little bit skill capped on the 8.6 star diff, there's also a slightly lower difficulty of the map set, as well as a 4.9 star diff for people to play. So yeah, go check that one out, because he's unfortunately the only mapper who did not get his custom played in Grand Finals, but he did do the hit sounds for this map. This map was previously unhit sounded before we pooled this one. And he also did a good job of checking some unrankables for this map, making sure that everything was good there. Shoutouts to Sarenhide, also known as Chemo, for fixing some of the timing on this. This had, I think, needed a +12 offset throughout the map. So that was figured out by people on the map pool team as well. So shoutouts to them. And of course to Rem, the mapper of this. This is a really, really awesome map.
Unfortunately, I guess the Nomad one didn't get played, but I guess for Grand Finals and the amount of customs you had, it's really cool that so many of them actually got played. So really cool to see a lot of the customs get some action here in the Grand Final.
At the gate here, it's Korean 2 with a big combo advantage, some drops as well, but I think this was a tiebreaker because it's a little bit tech-oriented that had Korean 2 managed to get to it, looked pretty good on.
That said, absolutely. I mean, the roster for Suntan on this is also insane, right? Malashevsky, Emrek, Flying Tuna, Zudinator on a map like this is pretty ridiculous if that would be the roster for them on this 4-player tiebreaker, because this is relatively tech-focused. All of them are really, really good at tech as well. And you have these speedier bursts and streams in this map to boot, so looking very, very good as a roster for Suntan on this one. And right now they're ahead. As you said, it's not with the stakes you usually expect, but I wonder how much of this would be real if this were played out as the true tiebreaker for these teams.
I don't think it's too surprising if in the actual thing, Worst Harlot player was the one leading the charge, sitting there with his 1.1k full combo so far. The only one left up. And it's kind of ridiculous. Just look at that SR. Emrek approaching 1k combo too, and Zuti.
You hit the slider stream. Oh, breaking right after. Henry hit it as well. Wait, so it actually.
Slider bursts, man. They are not okay with the spacing they're on too, but the big combos, all comboing through them. Henry and Rectagon both comboing through those slider streams is nutty, man. Oh, there goes Henry. Recty's still going though.
I mean, yeah, I think at this point, don't expect to see another 1k combo unless Rectagon can somehow manage it.
I mean, this is the stream section. If he's going to do it, it could be on this part right here. The aim control in these streams is no joke, but it is ever increasing in BPM, and Rectagon, of course, very good up to that 220 BPM that you see in this map, and he's getting there soon. He hit the square stream as well. This is not an easy section by any means, but I think very doable for someone like Rectagon, who is very, very good on these kinds of pure stream mechanics. and showing it off here. 1100 combo for Rectigon right now, but the overall team combo, finally a miss for Malashevsky actually, and finally for Rectigon as well. So that full team wipe now for I'm Korean 2 leaves just Emrek to stand with any combo in the lobby at the end of the stream section. Of course, if you're talking about pure mechanics, the #1 player in the world has to be in that conversation.
I think that stream section also kind of toasted worst HR players score a little bit. I think those chain misses, I mean, he's 140k now. At some point, the highest combo in the lobby. It's just tough as well when these maps demand everything from you. You can't be missing a single skill set. And with how, dense those streams are, chain miss is brutal. But Emrek, I think one of the only players with, not getting caught out by that slow slider into this ending section. A banger, just vibes.
I couldn't agree more with Andrew.
Yeah, exactly. The song is really awesome. Ludison definitely cooked with this one. This is a banger song. Alright, I'm wondering if anyone can hit the ending of this map, because this is still some ridiculous aim control streams. There goes Emrek. There goes pretty much everyone. Flying Tuna and Rectigon, the only 2 players to hit this section so far. Zuni made around about 150 combo, maybe hit most of this as well. I didn't see the beginning for Zuni. But this is just... And now it's just Rectigon. Rectigon and Zuni. There goes Zuni. It's just Rectigon hitting this right now. Nobody else has hit the entirety of this section besides him. He's still going, actually.
What is he doing?
This is some insane comboing from Rectigon at the end of this map. Like, got 1100 combo on this earlier, and now finally drops on a linear stream of all things. He's keeping it close. This is within 40k or so. Chain misses for both squads. Keep it to 20k now. The score difference for these two. Combo live on worst HR player, though. About 200 combo right now. And that 20k is actually still going back the way of Suntan, unfortunately for him. But this is just super close between these teams. If we got a proper tiebreaker between these teams, I cannot imagine how good it would have been for this match. Yeah. But this is just... I'm speechless. These players able to get, 300k or close to it on this map are absolutely nuts. This map is so difficult.
What is this combo from those 2 players on I'm Korean, by the way?
Like, what is that?
Henry is going in, dude. Is it still comebackable? It's not, right?
I don't think so.
No. That was exceptionally close. I think Theo is right. If that was a real tiebreak, I'm pretty sure I would have passed out from high heart rate if I was watching this with 6-6 on the line. I think it is going to be Suntan early win. I think worst HR player has dropped his tablet pen. But yeah, I mean, phenomenal match from all of these players. A skill level that is rarely seen, but yeah, GG's, and that is going to be Suntan with the TB win as well, which is always nice to see the winning team also win the showcase tiebreaker.
I'm glad we got to see it. And for showcase, that was pretty intense. Just incredible. The level of play on display in this tournament has just been crazy. It's been a pleasure to watch and cast. And this match has been a banger. It's the rematch of the winners' final. It goes the same way, but it was just as much of a banger of a game. What a performance from these two. Congrats to Suntan.
I still can't believe worst HR player almost breakpointed Ascension to Heaven by double tapping. There's a timeline where you come out a little bit better, and I can only imagine that.
Ascension to Heaven breakpoints in favor of worst HR player would have been the greatest script of all time. Just actually, yeah.
I would have lost my mind if he won that.
If he won that through sheer double tap technology, yeah.
Oh my god,
I don't know, man.
Oh, see, what a tournament though. Worst hard luck player has had though. Oh, it was such a big reason why I'm Korean got as far as they did. So many clutch points here, clutch points in that losers bracket final as well. But I guess in the end though, it's just been the case of just 2 super teams going at it. Godzilla and King Kong going at it here today. And I can't believe some of the plays we've seen on a tournament setting. It's just been ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams, of course, some of the best tournament players in the world, but ultimately it comes down to it. The best player in the world, as Emrek, did top match cost the match overall. Really well played to him. Not too far behind was worst HR player, and I think depending on what formula you use to calculate it, you could get worst HR player at number 1 and Emrek at number 2. So these two players really, really popping off. Malashevsky as well with a really incredible performance. I mean, lots of fantastic scores from tons of different players, but of course these players who are in for the majority of maps, worst HR player in Enri for I'm Korean 2, and Emrek and Malashevsky for Suntan, playing 8 and 7 maps respectively, looked very, very good throughout this entire match.
Oh, look how close those matchups are. I think you're right. I think depending on the formula, it could go either way. But
with Flashlight, worst HR player got number 1 match cost. So yeah, it's very close between them.
Not too surprised by that. But I guess when you get to this level, though, the skill caps of those very highly ranked players just are worth so much. And Emrek there's no other player who's more consistent on this level of difficulty across an entire map pool skill set than him, really. And it just goes to show he's that versatile on 8 stars. It's hard to compete. It's hard. We are seeing people getting quite close, though. Not to mention players like foreign players like Malashevsky, players like Enri and Rexagon on times as well. We're seeing people get close, but at the end of the day, he's number 1 for a reason, isn't he?
Yeah, indeed. Number 1 for a reason. But yeah, I mean, absolute pleasure to cast. Such a banger. Always love to see these matches, deliver with how close they are.
So I'm Korean 2 there, your number 2 team overall. They actually won with only 5 people playing this match. MCY4, or they got second with only 5 people playing this match. Almost went to tiebreaker.
That is insane,
with just
actually,
5 people versus the full team. So really, really solid run for I'm Korean 2 in this match. And I think it was 7 people playing for Suntan as well. So not quite the full team for them. No, actually, it was 6 people playing there. Nahus we saw earlier on as well. I know he played 1 map.
Played DT2, the first map.
Yeah, I think he only played the first map, and then chilled for the rest. But that's crazy. Actually, it was that close. And yeah, I'm Korean 2. We're missing some key players. Boshi, man, very valuable player, but they made it that close, even without players like him, without Restia. And that's actually a really crazy achievement against a team like Suntan on this pool.
Yeah.
That shows the versatility of the players he had at the disposal today.
Yeah. So congratulations, of course, to your first place team, Suntan. They will win $2,000 out of the 5K prize pool. Second place, I'm Korean 2. They will win $1,350 to split between the team. And third place is Chipi Chapa, winning $650 to split between the 7 players on that roster. So a little bit more per player for them. And if you're wondering, if you're doing the math, you see that adds up to 4,000 and not 5,000. If you're wondering where the extra 1K is going, to the victors of the Showmatch happening next weekend. There'll be a Showmatch on March 31st at 15 UTC for this tournament. And we're going to be getting into the draft for that Showmatch now shortly. So stick around if you want to see the teams for that, and we'll be releasing the map pool shortly afterwards as well. It looks like we're going to get started with the draft for that in about 5 minutes. So Dooms, Vorty, anything more to talk about with this Grand Finals and the tournament overall?
I think this is an awesome tournament. I really like this format. I think we've been seeing recently some tournaments do some different things with how they organize the format, but this the 1 slots, the 2 slots, having a variety of player count as an added layer of how you pick your maps, how you build your teams, I think is super, super interesting. I'm interested to see how this format would work with maybe a lower team size, like team size 6, but a really, really cool spin on traditional tourneys. I really been enjoying it.
Yeah, it's a nice mashup, I guess, of the 1v1 style of format where it comes down more to the individual player, and also just certain skill sets on 1v1 compared to like a 4v4. It is a very different sort of thing to watch and I guess analyze. So as a caster, it's been really cool to sort of theory craft about how I guess the skill sets are spread among different player counts. Things like that are really cool. I wonder how pools would fill in for that style going forward after it's had a bit more, I guess, of a practice. But I think as an idea, it's an interesting thing to run. It's been cool to see it play out.
Yeah, and I want to give some shout outs as well to the map pool team and to the general team for the entire tournament here, because this has been a really, really interesting tournament to run. Of course, shout outs to Fuval, the host, for bringing us the different format and for securing stuff like a Wacom sponsorship, for example. But there has been quite a lot that went into this tournament. Of course, the Hunter as helping out with the manager, along with this one guy and BTMC and myself. The map pool management done by myself, Miles, Risoa, Megamic, and Wowie. Quality assurance on all of the customs done by Deka, Rayalazy, Wafer, Devious Panda, Nanoya, and Wowie. Tons and tons of custom mappers, of course. The whole stream team who have been really, really solid throughout the entire tournament, between the difficulties, of course, with the tournament client and Bancho and the different overlays and everything. So shout outs to them. Of course, to the graphic designers for the tournament, and to Wacom and Drunk Deer for the sponsorships. Shout outs to the playtesters as well. There was a lot of early round playtesting that went into this that you don't usually see at the higher levels. So shout outs to them. And of course, to the spreadsheeters, Kay and Shadoos, to the storyboarder, who did the storyboarder for us for Grand Finals Fremod 4 and Krypton. Check out that storyboard, it's sick. And the referees throughout the tournament, who of course made all of the matches possible. Thanks to all the staff from SSOT, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with the draft for the show match next weekend. Stay tuned. All right. Hello and welcome back to SSOT. We are here for the Showmatch draft. We're going to be having a show match next weekend on March 31st at 15 UTC. We're going to have some pretty fun players, some Osu legends facing off against each other. The captains of the two teams are going to be Akolibed and Emrek, and the players that they will be drafting include Rafis, BTMC, Zudinator, Flying Tuna, White Cat, and Karyu. Still the same squad of 3 casters for this draft. Hello, Dooms. Hello, Vordy.
What's up, dear?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, man, got some absolute legends in this. Not just for the name, but just the achievements in this set of players are really high, and of course, they are very well known, very well loved around here in the OC community. It's really cool that they've agreed to get together to give us a lovely show match on some lovely maps, which you will see in a minute. But before that, of course, we need to see who's teaming with who, and Akolibed and Emrek will be picking out the rest of the players to form teams of 4v4. And I believe that's happening at pretty
do we know, is the match going to be 4v4, like standard 4v4, or is it going to be the SSOT format of map slots? Because I think it's going to,
I think we're probably still using the SSOT slot format, given the pool. Because the pool is on the sheet right now, and there's some 9 stars in the 1 slots, and I feel like that's playable for like 2 players. So, I think probably we'll be using the SSOT format for the show match as well. Because let's be real here, high score in hidden is much less difficult than something like the 9-star APOC dance number. I think we'll be using the SSOT format for this one.
So I'll quickly go through some recognizable maps in the pool for people who don't have the sheet up. We obviously got the 9.6 star dance number as mentioned as no mod 1. You have Hard Rock Yomiuri as the Hard Rock one. This is the Takedo Yomiuri. So with Hard Rock, have fun. You have Valley of the Damned DT1. That's the one Akolibed FC'd for 1.5k. I think he's going to be happy to see that in the pool. But DT2, it's a bit of an easier DT, so you can have 2 players cycle hit. Obviously, just a chill DT map. That's definitely playable. You have Freedom Dive, Free Mod 3. Obviously, Freedom Dive. Sorry, being one of the easier maps in the pool. So that's why in the 3 slot. And you have Big Black is, I think, a noticeable. Is it the same Big Black, the classic one?
Oh yeah,
I think that might be the easiest map in the pool, which is funny to see how far Tsukinami's DT4. Tsukinami's the 4 DT. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is some hype beast pooling if I've ever seen it.
But, it is some hype beast pooling, and that's not even like there's nothing at stakes. It's not like it's just a for fun match. Like there's $1,000 at stake for the winning team of this. So good luck on that pool for everybody.
But into the draft here, we have Akolibed first picking Zudinator from the available players. Emrek responding with taking Tuna.
Yeah, I mean, I think those picks make quite a lot of sense. I think a lot of people would expect I would have expected either Rafis or White Cat second pick for Emrek, but going with BTMC, Edward Ling himself, picked up by Emrek. And now Akolibed gets to pick the next 2. You have to assume it's going to be Rafis and White Cat for Akolibed now.
Don't doubt my boy Karyu, dude. Don't do it.
He's taken some picks at Roundtable. He's taken some picks at Roundtable before.
Yeah.
And
see.
Emrek saying, please don't pick Karyu. He wants the hype team. He wants the dream team. I'm surprised to see White Cat go this deep in the draft, to be honest. I think this is Akolibed picking White Cat first, deciding between Rafis and Karyu. Who's he going to go for?
Oh, it's looking like it's going to be White Cat. So that's Akolibed, Zutinator, White Cat. That's a pretty mean aim roster they're building there, actually.
That is a ridiculous aim roster.
Yeah.
Guys.
Honesty.
I don't think we have guys in this chat, unfortunately. I don't think we have guys in this chat. Very sad. Somebody needs to get on 7TV right now.
It's gonna be Akolibed to pick up Rafis.
And Karyu going automatically to Emrek's team. So there's the final teams. Emrek, Flying Tuna, BTMC, and Karyu versus Akolibed, Zudinator, Whitecat, and Rafis. The pool is out on the sheet as well right now.
That is the dream team there. BTMC and Karyu with their powers combined. Looks like my boy Flying Tuna and Emrek.
Yeah, look, I you know, if we're gonna think of who wins this one in a week, yeah, Akolibed, Zudinator, Whitecat, Rafis is gonna be really, really good for the 4s. Obviously, I think Emrek, Flying Tuna on the 1s and the 2s are gonna be pretty good, but yeah, we'll see how BTMC and Karyu can hold up against Zudi, Whitecat, Rafis, Akolibed.
Yep.
I have my best wishes.
I mean, they've got the content team. Let's be clear. They have the team, right?
Dream content team.
Oh, they have the dream content team. If I'm drafting a team to win, I'm probably drafting just like Akolibed did, given the circumstances. I might not draft. Maybe I would draft Rafis or Whitecat over Ed, second pick for Emrek. But I think if you're drafting for the content, if you're drafting for it to be an interesting match, I think Emrek's draft is really good. And I do think Yomiuri Hard Rock, Ed, pretty solid on that map, right? Like,
yeah.
Let's get him in on that. No?
Oh yeah.
I think there's ways for both of these players to contribute to the win for Emrek's team. Plus you have Emrek on the team. So I mean
that helps.
That helps a bit.
Does help, yeah. Does help.
Does help.
Yeah, if Hard Rock 1 does get picked, I want to see BTMC on it. I better not see Emrek step in.
Yeah, if they pick Hard Rock 1 and Ed doesn't play it, he's fake. I'm sorry. Like, I need to see that guy play Yomiuri Hard Rock. Like, let's
practice
real.
Leading up to this moment. I guess BTMC and Karyu get that land buff. They're going to be able to talk about the strats in person. And I mean, Akolibed's team can't do that.
No.
That communication buff.
Exactly. They can hover over each other and coach themselves during the match,
exactly.
Right? Like, yeah.
It's all about that motivation.
It's gonna be fun to watch. I can tell you that much already.
It's gonna be hilarious. Yeah. And it's also gonna be just a good showcase of ability as well. But it's just gonna be a load of fun. But it's a load of fun with a lot on the line, to be fair. So
there's an entire band on this one.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
250 split up. I think with how the split works for the winning the tournament, I think it's the same split. It's 250 each. Yep. So it's quite an accomplishment if you can win this one as well.
I think the big thing I think we're all wondering is how are these fine people, these lovely players, going to deal with the Showmatch map pool, which we've hinted at a few times because, quite frankly, it's a thing of beauty. Now, I'm not sure how much it's changed since the week, because I understand people have been able to submit requests to things they could add to this pool, but the end result is spectacular. I'm going to use that word. It's something.
It's spectacular.
It's a thing of beauty, really. It's lovely to see. Non-breathable Hydra, pretty much. I mean, yeah, it's just hype map wall to wall. I think I recognize almost every single map here, and it's Shotgun Symphony Hidden 3. Brings that one back.
Yeah.
That's a classic. 2009, bro.
Yeah. Freedom Dive and Free Mod, although OWC already did that. So, I mean, is it really hype pooling if you're copying OWC, you know? Is it really hype pooling?
I mean, that's an actual map pick now, dude. That's just a map people play, dude.
Yeah, that's just a normal tournament pick now. Like, it's a little silly.
There it is. All right, okay. You can see it now on the.
You can see some of it. There we go.
Oh, let's go.
Megalomania, like Nomad 2 as well, goes kind of hard. The 8.6 MASH map of the century. I remember grinding that when I could actually speed. Not really these days, but
yeah. I mean, okay, 9-star dance number Nomad 1, Megalomania 270 BPM Nomad 2. Parts Nomad 3. Putting Funfair the top diff as Nomad 4. Transhumanist Hidden 1, which is just some absurd tech. Deal with the Devil Hidden 2. Shotgun Symphony plus Hidden 3. High score hidden 4 is out of place here. Like, let's put that in the DT pool. No,
Yeah, that's a
too
DT,
easy.
Yeah,
For this one.
I think high score and probably black, the big black, stand out as the easier maps in the pool.
Yeah, those are without a doubt, I think, the 2 easiest maps in the pool. Which does say things. Yomiuri Hard Rock 1, Ryusei Gun Hard Rock 2, Road of Resistance, yes, that one, Hard Rock 3, Lost Umbrella Hard Rock 4, Valley of the Damned DT1, yes, that one.
Yep.
Cycle Hit, yes, that one, DT2. Miss You, DT3.
Oh, I didn't see Miss You, actually.
A little bit less
That's
known,
wild.
but that's a classic as well. And then, of course, Tsukinami, yes, as DT4. Tag 4 free mod 1 with non-Breath of Bleach free mod 2, Freedom Dive free mod 3, and the Big Black free mod 4. And finally, Exit This Earth's Atmosphere as tiebreaker, because of course.
Of course. That's another Ed map as well, so...
Yeah.
Hey, man. And actually, unironically, Ed has a few. Like in Road of Resistance, you put like Emmerich Flying Tuna on that map. It's gonna be pretty good squad.
Yeah. I mean, look, all I'm saying is if I don't see Ed play Yomiuri and Road of Resistance, something is deeply wrong. That's it. Road of Resistance, Yomiuri, and Freedom Dive. I need to see Ed play those. If he's not in for those maps, I don't know what. Like, we draft this guy to play these maps. No,
literally Big Black as well. You know, put him on the Hard Rock.
Oh yeah,
do some stuff. But I just want to see. Imagine a world where Akrolibed re-FC's Valley of the Damned and Emmerich re-FC's Cycle Hit in match.
Oh my god!
I need to see it.
That'd be something.
I like how they've the way the pool's gone. They've kind of put like the reading stuff on the high player count as well, so there is no escape from playing Shotgun Symphony Plus.
There's no escape for anyone from playing Pudding Funfair. It takes all 4 players on Pudding Funfair.
Have fun.
Oh mate. Oh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be hilarious.
I think that map might be harder no mod than Shotgun Symphony is on Hidden. Oh my god.
You might have a point. Actually, it has higher star rates than the Shotgun Symphony Plus. How does that work? Hello.
Okay, to be fair, Shotgun Symphony is CS7. That is notoriously underweighted in star rating.
Oh, yeah, that's true, isn't it? That's true. Yeah, they got a week to try and make something work with this pool, of course. This match has been played next week, 31st of March, 15 UTC. The main tournament of SSOT may be concluded, but the show match is going to be something to behold.
It's going to be a banger.
It's going to be something. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
All right. And I think regarding the run of show, that is everything for us. We've gone over just about everything besides the content creation showdown. So I do want to talk about that for just a moment. The content creation showdown, if you haven't been paying attention, has a $500 prize for the best video about SSOT on social media. So if you haven't submitted an entry for that, go ahead and submit one by April 14th. Using hashtag SSOT and hashtag content creation showdown in your video. And you could win $500 just by making a video about SSOT and putting it on social media. So good luck to anyone participating in that. Shout out once more to our sponsors, Wacom and Drunk Deer. I'm still flabbergasted that Wacom is sponsoring an OSU tournament. So yeah, shout out to Wacom. Code SSOT for 40% off Intuos Pro tablets and code OSGO for Drunk Gear for 20% off any of their products. And I think that is actually it on the run of show for us. We've already thanked all of the staff. We've gone over the show match draft and talked about the teams. We've seen the grand finals. We've given our congratulations to the podium teams, to Suntan, I'm Korean 2, and Chippy Chippy Chapa Chapa in that order. And that is going to be it for us here at SSOT for this weekend. Come back next week, Sunday, March 31st at 15 UTC for the show match. That'll be a banger. Good luck to those teams. Congratulations again to Suntan. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you to Vorty and Dooms for being on the cast with me today. And we will see you all next week for the show match.
Take care, everyone.
Yep, see you there.